Oh boy, oh boy. I can never start the show in a serious kind of way. It's just my nature. It's just the way it is. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Streaming Evil Live. My name is Jeffrey Murder Jeffrey Murder and yeah, we have we're going up against the Super Bowl tonight. Who needs sports ball? I mean, who cares, man? Sports. It's just like, I don't know. For me, it's always been music. Music is my sports, okay? My sports ball players, my pitchers and my guys, they're guitar players and singers and drummers and stuff. That's what I like to talk about. So there is that. Oh, we don't have the banner. Let's put the banner up as well. So I have a special guest. I'm going to bury the lead a little bit. Actually, if you're reading the title of this, you'll probably already know who it is. I thought he was the perfect guy to include for today's show. I didn't want to do this show solo. I felt like it's going to be a little bit of discussion, but let me give a little preamble before we get there. My decision to do this show. Well, I've been wanting to do this show for a long time. It's something that I've always sort of like kicked around. And then, a couple of times I've seen some posts regarding, this thing. And I always said, man, I should do that. And I said, no, don't do that. That's too much. It's too far. I don't know. Maybe, my biggest fear, my biggest problem is that my intentions and what I say will be received and interpreted in the wrong way. So let me start off by straight up saying 100. What did I write? I wrote something that I thought was very apropos. Let's see what I did. No, we don't want to hear that. This is what I wrote on the thing. I wrote, please note, we are not here to make fun or talk ish. This is meant to be a respectful, objective, honest, and thought-provoking analysis of the events that surround the video. And the reason why I put that there, it looks like the other person's post stuff disappeared. There was a post out there. Somebody was like, "What? I hate that you're giving this oxygen." I don't think of it in that way. I don't think I'm giving anything oxygen. And the reason why is this, and we're going to talk more about that with our guest. How you doing? How you doing, Rusty Murdergram? TVC, present and accounted for. I love it. The reason why I don't think that myself and my guest are going to be giving it any oxygen is because this thing went viral before the invention of YouTube. YouTube did not exist when this flourished on the internet. This is, if you know anything about music or heavy metal or pop culture, this is a commonly known, heard thing. There have been a million podcasts about it, and usually they're very negative and, sort of like go overboard with that sort of stuff. You don't generally see too many objective takes on the incident, on the situation. So I thought that what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to do. My guest is JW from Keep On Danzig fan group. These are, it's funny. We have many different communities within Misfits Samhain Danzigdom. You've all your different groups and cliques and things. And the Keep On Danzigs, they're memeologists, I would say. That's the best way to describe them. They love making memes. That's how they express themselves and enjoy their worship and fandom of Danzig and all things Danzig. And so I thought, I'd like a co-host. I think Jay, they were talking about it in their group too. And I just thought, man, this is the perfect time to bring this guy on the show and sort of be a bouncing board for all the stuff that we're going to discuss. Now, here's the thing. It's not a trial. This is like an investigative piece. We are going to investigate the situation here. And we're going to look at all the information, because what is it that we do on the Streaming Evil Live show? We go over minutia. That's what we do. We're nerds. We are Misfits Samhain Danzig nerds that like to pick out, oh, 1983, this happened, and just ridiculous nonsense, that nobody else cares about except for us. But I thought one thing that has not, and a lot of people are like, oh, this video again. Well, let's look at all the stuff that is never talked about. Let's look at all the context that surrounds the incident. So we're not talking about the incident per se, because the video doesn't lie in this fact. The fact is that Danzig shoved the guy and the guy punched Danzig and Danzig got punched. Like, you can't, that's irrefutable truth. However, upon looking at the video and a lot of the circumstances and comments and testimony from people who were there, I'm just saying there's way more to this story, in my personal opinion, than meets the eye. And I think and this is my personal belief, I think way too much gets put on Danzig. I really do. I think that there are a lot of things that are not taken into account. So I'm going to bring JW on. We're going to look at all the stuff. I did a lot of prep for this episode. Oh, I just realized here's the other things I need. Whoops. Thanks for reminding me, you guys. I needed that, and I have my notes. Sorry, just want to make sure we're extra prepared here. So we'll put that behind that. Pay no attention behind the wall here. So I'm going to bring in JW. He's going to say what's up. He runs the KOD group. They're alive and kicking. And we're gonna start discussing this. We're gonna go through. I have points, and we're gonna go through the points. JW is gonna say what he needs to say. I'm gonna say what I need to say. And if anybody feels like commenting or weighing in from time to time, please feel free to. Further down the road, we are going to bring in someone else, and he is going to be the resident. I don't know, like a panelist. Think of him as a panelist. He's a panelist expert on touring, being in a band, on the indie level, just like band etiquette, stuff like that. Areas where both JW and I are not too familiar. So he could probably contextualize further the things that we discuss, and we'll call him in after we go through our stuff. So without further ado, let me from KOD, keep on Danzig. Let me introduce to you JW. Welcome to the show, JW.
Good evening, Jeff. How are you?
I'm very good.
It's good to be here. I'm pretty excited about this topic. One of the reasons is that it's we have a lot of personal, investment in this topic. But when you go back to like the roots of why Keep on Danzig was founded and the niche that we occupy, you can kind of look at the original YouTube casting of the video to kind of get a sense of that. Basically, you have kind of two camps that exist in the Danziverse, as I refer to it. You get the people that are just 1,000%, oh my God, that didn't even happen. Glenn should have killed him. How dare you guys even discuss it? And then on the other hand, you just got the Nimrods that are always like, oh my God, Glenn deserved to be punched, ha ha. And so we actually had one of the rules in our community. It's not just a meme group. We're definitely a community. We have events, get-togethers, and so forth. Anyway, one of the rules of that was you don't post the video, because that's basically like a Bush League entry-level bullshit that, they're either going to come in and post Tiny Danzig holding cat litter, or, have you seen this video? Danzig got punched. Yeah, no shit. We've seen the fucking video. So it's kind of been a taboo topic, because you can't just have an open discussion and bring it out without just having every dickhead crawl out from under the wood and ruin the day. So anyway, thanks for having me on. I'll try to add some perspective and a little bit of analysis. I know we're going up against the Super Bowl, so I don't know. How do you feel about the ratings? Do you think we'll beat them?
I'm never worried about the live ratings, because this show lives on YouTube afterwards. When we get a lot of people, the best part of the show is when we have a lot of comments and people are really weighing in on what's discussed, and that's so much fun, and I love that sort of stuff, like Rusty Murdergram.
I suspect you'll probably get a lot of comments after the show. I think a lot of people are occupied tonight. Right. I'm sure buying ad space on your show is a little more affordable than Super Bowl. I think Coca-Cola and some big wigs pulled out. So make them an offer, man.
Let's start that this
what
episode.
are you pitching there?
This episode is sponsored by Bull and Basket Black Cherry Seltzer.
Well, I think it's also sponsored by, how do you pronounce it? LaCroix?
LaCroix.
LaCroix. Anyway, LaCroix seltzer for the discerning child that wants all the fun of a Coca-Cola, but without that obnoxious flavor, taste, excitement, color. You know, if you want something that tastes like water, but maybe metallic flavor or something, kids love that shit, man. They hate real soda. So anyway, shout out to LaCroix.
Cheers. I love, this is a seltzer drinking show. So
better have a real drink to start this off too.
Yeah, and you got perfect. You're all set there. You're getting lubricated.
7 to the 6-on-6. You got it, buddy.
Beautiful. I like that. Okay, so you made me think of something else too, and this is something that every Danzig fan has to deal with. There's something weird. I think this is a great introduction.
Yeah.
There's something super weird about how, when you're Danzig fans as a whole, like fandom, Danzig's fandom take their Danzig very, very seriously. Like really seriously in the way that Danzig.
I'd say, in terms of kind of differentiating and why KOD has been so successful is, we did create a niche that did not exist before. You basically had the people that were just, Danzig haters. And then you had, kind of like official type fan groups where you couldn't even make jokes. And, a lot of people say, oh, KOD, all they do is make fun of Danzig. No, I say we don't make fun of Danzig. We fucking celebrate Danzig. We love Danzig more than Danzig loves Danzig. And that we're going to do a lot of crazy shit that doesn't get endorsed. It doesn't get embraced by the outside traditional fan that just, very tunnel vision and shit. And so, people don't like it, they can fuck off. And that's what they do.
Yeah, but that's like so you can relate to what I'm about to say in terms of if you're a fan of Danzig, whatever, through the years, anybody who doesn't like Danzig is going to go, hey, look at this, as you just said, hey, look at the video.
Low hanging fruit. They all think they know 3 things: mother, kitty litter, and this video.
Yeah, and it's just like, and you want to know what's so weird? On one hand, it's like, dude, why do you think I'm going to be affected or offended by you, which is what they want to do, by you talking about it?
Yeah, there's that. And there's also, I think one thing that really, when you get true Danzig fans that are not just obsessed with Danzig, but have a greater sense of the universe and their place in it, we understand that, it's not about just like ripping on the guy. We know that he's ridiculous in many cases. I use that word lovingly. We talk about his love of onion soup and his, freak outs and stuff. And he's very serious about shit. We don't love him in spite of that shit. We love him because of that shit as well. Yeah. So it's like, people like the low level dickheads that are just haters. They love to come in and go, oh, Danzig, he's a dick. So what? I want all my rock stars to be a dick. I want them to be amped up to 11. I want them to be fucking extreme. And I love that about Danzig. He's unapologetic. He's him. And, that's that.
Right. And so, but here's the funny thing. I agree with everything you just said, but additionally, when they do try to get one's goat, being a Danzig fan, I don't know what it is, but I got to admit, and this might be just me personally, but I do think a lot of Danzig fans can relate. I do take it personally. I do get upset.
A little bit, I think.
I'm like, shut up.
I feel, I think, like you said, you consider music your sport. I'm not into sports either.
This is our team. This is our team.
I'm not going to jump into a conversation about the Super Bowl and try to act like I know what I'm talking about. if you want to talk to Danzig about me, or if you want to talk about any of the bands that I'm into, either come with a place of respect, knowing that you don't know shit and be enlightened, or if you do know something, fucking bring it to the table, show that you're worthy of being part of that discourse, and let's go from there. Because don't just come in and go, Danzig's a dick, all he ever did was mother. No, that shows that you're not worthy of a conversation. So I feel like, with a lot of things in life, I feel like, it's that filter. Like, are you worthy to have this discussion? Don't tell me about Danzig if you don't know about Danzig. Get the fuck out. If you only know one song, well, there's really not, don't tell me that he sucks because you only know one song. Anyway.
Right. So I think that this introduction, again, for anybody, like I said, there was a comment before which had me a little anxious. If I'm being honest with you, I'm going to be honest with you. I was a little anxious because, again, I had to ask myself the question, am I giving something oxygen that, and then I'm like, what? Who cares? Like, no, A, who cares, number one. But number two, no, I don't think I'm giving anything oxygen. If anything, this is what we do on the show. This is a topic. And by the way, this is what I want to really mention is this is our 50th episode, people. I've been doing this show every week. Thank you. We're doing the show every week. I think we missed like 1 week, or maybe, I don't know. We might have missed a few weeks, but like 50 episodes, man. And I never thought we would reach number 50, but we did. And it's freaking awesome.
You do one every week or
just about. And you know what's funny? My biggest fear is I'm like, I'm gonna run out of stuff to talk about. Like, when is the other shoe gonna drop?
You won't actually. That's the great thing about going down the Danzig hole. I started KOD almost 6 years ago, and shortly after, like, the first few months or something, some asshole is like, hey, we've done every meme we can do. We've made every joke we can make. We need to open it up for other punk rock bands. We need to open it up for other topics. And I said, no, we don't. You need to get the fuck out. Because if you fucking love something, there is a million different ways that you can look at it, a million different ways you can talk about it. There's always weird shit coming up. There's always new stories. You got Ashley bringing something new to the table. You got all kinds of goofy shit. And if that's not enough for you, sorry, you don't have what it takes to freaking hang. If you think you need to bring more into that, you're out. I believe in my group, I believe in keeping that shit narrow. I say, if you can't bring something that's zigged, don't fucking post it. I don't give a shit what Metallica does. If Metallica's fucking doing a Danzig cover, okay, fine. But don't tell me that some dipshit rock band that I have to hear, I don't fucking care. Keep it Danzig. Anyway,
right.
Man, I get on a tangent.
So here's what we're going to do. Okay. So again, people, so you know where we're coming from here. This is not about making fun. This is not about showing disrespect. This is not about talking shit. This is about examining information and facts and yada, yada, yada. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to lead the discussion. JW is going to chime in with his 2 cents, and then we're going to have comments, and then we're going to have my panelist. I'll call him out. I don't know if he's in yet, but whenever he comes in, I'll send the high sign. We're going to bring the panelist in as well. And if I may, no, we're good. We're good. Okay. So hold on real quick. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I guess. Okay. So let me start with my notes, make sure that I'm in the right spot. Talked about that. Okay. So let's set the scene and narrative. Again, what's kind of funny? Eventually, we're going to get to the moment when the
moment of impact.
Yeah, the moment of. Eventually, we're going to get to the moment of impact, but I think a lot of what we're going to discuss is actually dances around the moment of impact. The moment of impact is
Danzig of Wolves,
dude. It's going to be Danzig of Wolves, because the moment of impact is like the sun of the solar system, and we're just going to be exploring all the planets, man. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So let's set the scene. Ready? This is like this is turning into serial. The year is 2004. It's 4th of July weekend, July 3rd, Tuba City in Arizona. Now, this is something I did not know. I did a lot of reading about this recently. In my quest to learn more than just, Danzig got punched while on a videotape. So this incident happens July 3rd, 2004 on a Native American reservation, okay, in Arizona. This I did not know. This kind of blew my mind. It was for a festival. The festival was supposed to have 2 stages. It ended up getting 1 stage. That'll be discussed later. Again, from the information that I pulled, Danzig was not the original headliner of this show. It was actually supposed to be Slayer. Slayer canceled at the last minute, and Danzig filled in the date. I've also read elsewhere that Danzig, and again, someone might be able to cross-reference this better than me with tour dates, but Danzig had just come back from Europe, and now he was doing a couple of dates in the US before returning back to LA. So this was one of those dates. It was incredibly hot outside. There were a lot of people waiting for to get tickets, yada, yada, yada. And that is where everything sort of begins. And now I'm thinking, JW, is it better to sort of start with the testimonies of the parties involved, or should we just tell the story for people who don't know? Or people?
Why don't you, maybe you should just give an overview of what went down, basically a summary. Obviously there's some arcs there that you can go, but, and then along the way, I mean, I have some issues with some bits and pieces. So just do maybe an overall summary of what what went down with the event. That's my first time hearing that, or I might have heard it, or if I did, I forgot it, but that Slayer was supposed to headline originally.
No, did not know that at all.
Yeah. Anyway.
As a matter of fact, I cannot find, I was trying to find more. And again, guys, I did a bunch of reading there. I might get some facts wrong. If anybody can fact check me or say, Jeff, that's actually not true, and post in the comment and explain why it's not true, JW and I, we welcome that. We're not authorities here. We are just looking at information objectively. Yes, we have a bias. That part of the problem here, or at least I have a bias. There's a bias here because I'm a ginormous fan of Uncle Glenn. I love Uncle Glenn. I love Uncle Jerry. You know what I mean? I love these guys. So it's like, I do have a bit of a bias. However, when I still look objectively out at the information, I kind of think this whole thing is bullshit a little bit. Did Danzig get punched? Yes, he got punched. But I mean, besides that, like what led to him getting punched and yada, 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 there's just a lot of stuff. So basically overview. And JW, please inject anything that you think I forgot. Overview. A bunch of bands get dropped from the bill. This is the super overview. Bunch of bands get dropped. There's a ton of opening bands. I've read some places that it was 11 opening bands. Other places I've read that it was 14 opening bands.
Too many
opening bands for Danzig as a headliner. Now, I've heard some places say that this was a festival. Other places, not so much. It was essentially a Danzig show with a bunch of openers. There were supposed to be 2 stages. The town or the city or whatever removed one of the stages. The whole idea being that one band, this is common at festivals.
Sure.
Right? One band sets up while the other band plays.
Each time you go from one to the other. Yeah.
Right. And they nix that, which creates a bottleneck issue. In any case, a bunch of bands did not get a chance to play. There is supposedly, and again, this is where I find some contention. Supposedly, Danzig moves up his set time. Danzig's supposed to play at 12. He plays at 10. And a deal is struck. Supposedly, a deal is struck where Glenn is supposed to say, after he's finished with his set, stick around, there are more bands. This was the compromise. This didn't happen. The guy, we'll just call him Danny. I don't even want to give his band really any attention, although I guess we probably will in the details. This guy, Danny, confronts Glenn. Glenn pushes Danny. Danny punches Glenn. Glenn falls. And then this tape makes the rounds. And again, just to give you context of the time, pre-YouTube. This is 2004. YouTube doesn't come into play until 2005. This thing was viral back in 2004. JW, do you remember what it was like back then, and remember hearing about this video for the first time, and anything you can recall in that situation?
You know, I remember watching it. I remember my friends, telling me about it. And I don't really remember what the logistics of it were to like access the video. I'm trying to remember like pre-YouTube. I think, you'd find some link in a bulletin board or something, and it would go to some weird choppy thing to play it. Obviously we all saw it on the internet. But I don't really, and yeah, it was short, pretty much right after whenever he posted it, 2004, 2005 or whatever. So I don't know the mechanics of how did things go viral back then? I guess just word of mouth, just kind of spread around. But yeah, I don't know. I remember it. I remember thinking like, wow, that's, at the time I thought it was like, pretty wild stuff. And yeah, pretty viral before the YouTube. That's a good way to put it.
It's just so crazy because, yeah. So I think, if I remember, because I remember seeing all sorts of stuff before YouTube, and basically what you had was like the QuickTime. Remember like those embedded QuickTime players? Yeah. And that's how you watch stuff. And I actually did find in my research, it was azpunk.com that broke the video. The band, Danny's band, gave the video to azpunk.com. They uploaded it, and that's when it exploded. I personally remember when it happened, and I remember just being kind of like, I think I was definitely like kind of bummed because, and this is the problem, this is the problem for a lot of Danzig fans.
I was like actually on my downtime, I took kind of a hiatus in my Danzig fandom. Like many people, once Danzig 5 came out, I kind of threw a hissy fit and, kind of went and dug into a little hole and came out strong again after Danzig's Death Red Sabbath, and it's like, all right, I'm back.
You hibernated.
And then I revisited the old stuff. I'm like, all right, I should have stuck with it, but I was one of those guys that went on break when we ran for the hills after Danzig 5. But yeah, it was viral. It was definitely entertaining because it's Glenn kind of has a certain image, a certain reputation he likes to protect. So regardless of what side of the fence you were on any of it, it was something that got spread and then was definitely buzzworthy, So
yeah, but you know what it was? Danzig was a Superman for many fans, dude. He was like a Superman. Yeah. It was like, remember, and JW, I don't know if you're a comic book man, but remember when Superman died in 1994 or whatever? Superman died. That was big news. People were like, and again, I'm not trying to compare Glenn Danzig to Superman. I'm just saying that a lot of people were like, nothing could, Danzig was infallible. And then this was the first time that we saw the guy that, we all loved and cherished in that kind of way just get, dropped, like straight up dropped. He got dropped, man. I hate to say it. He got dropped. However, I have always watched that video.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to say, well, I have rewatched that video a lot, especially now. And he doesn't really get dropped. It's not what people, it really got over exaggerated and amped up in a big sort of way. When you actually watch it, we're going to watch it, guys. We have a frame by frame sort of situation. It's the Zapruder. We have the Zapruder film. It's not high res, but we're going to do our best to sort of analyze and take this into account as well. So that is another thing that we can do. So hold on, let me just check my notes real quick. All right. So I guess, okay, JW, this is what we're going to do. We're going to wait, what did I do? Band member. Okay. Yeah, there's that. Okay. So let's go to, before we do anything else, I'm going to share my screen and what I've done. So I went through a bunch of YouTube videos and a bunch of sort of, I guess I tried to collect eyewitness testimony. That was not the Northside Kings guy. And that was not Danzig. I was trying to find
people.
I know, but I was trying to find people that were there and could present some sort of additional context to everything that we say. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through these comments, and then I'll fill in yada yada yada, and we can talk about that. Hold on, let's just see. I said this comment: the people that allowed that to happen should be taken care of. Yes, hang. The dude was like 300 pounds. Yes, these are some of my problems, Mr. Mecha Wolf. These are some of my issues too. Shit was so unfair, even in real fights. We have weight classes for a reason. Yes, that is one of my. Actually, that's one of my notes. Is the weight class thing. Rue Morg says he was not knocked out, is what he says. Oliver from a stone. Because yes, that's right. Because
but I think he says, he Mecha Wolf mentions. I can't see the comment now. Anyways,
put it back.
If he was 300 pounds, he wouldn't be proud of knocking out a 50-year-old man that's half my size. He wasn't proud of knocking out a 50-year-old man half his size. It was that he knocked out. I say Danzig dropped it down. It was anyway. We can talk about that later. But his claim to fame wasn't that he knocked out a 50-year-old man. He was that he punched Danzig.
Right.
He basically created his entire existence after that fact. He says like, oh, he wrote a book called Never Punch a Rock Star. And I mean, he's riding that coattail forever, man.
His entire life was defined by this moment.
Let me just say this, because we can chop up the details about the opening band, this and that. But let me just go on record. And so here's my bias, if you will. I fucking hate opening bands. Okay, I don't want 1 of them, and I don't want fucking 14 of them. So this whole shit about Danzig being, he demanded to be moved up front. Thank God he demanded to be moved up front, because if I was there, I sure as fuck don't want to wait till midnight to see Danzig. I love that. Usually when I go see Danzig, there's 1 or 2 opening bands. I'm at the bar drinking. I'm outside pounding beers in the fucking parking lot. I know that typically Glenn's going to hit the stage around 8 or 9. Get shit done. Let us fucking live our lives. And then they talk about, the bands could have gone afterwards. So what? You actually think people are going to fucking stay till 6 a.m. watching your shit ass band? Fuck that. So anyway, and I think one thing that we want to talk about if we talk about, the opening bands, like what I'm curious of is whether these were bands that were just given an opportunity to fill time that they thought was going to be there, for 6 hours of pre-Danzig or pre-Slayer originally bullshit, or was this a pay-to-play situation where they actually paid for that opportunity? Because I could understand being a band and getting quite pissed if I paid, $400 or whatever out of pocket for the opportunity to be one of those 11 opening bands, because I just, if Northside Kings,
that's still not Danzig's problem. That's
not
the promoter's problem.
None of that is Danzig's problem.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, we can talk about the video, but this logistics shit leading up to it, none of that is Glenn. And the whole thing about Glenn's supposed to announce the band when they take this, before he's done. Why is that Glenn's responsibility? His responsibility.
Is that in his contract? Is it in his contract?
I doubt. That was just some make it up on the fly bullshit, because these guys didn't have their act together. Okay. They said they obviously didn't have the permits or whatever for 2 stages. They had to go there. Now it's no wonder they say, some people blame Danzig for the sound check running to 5:30. Bullshit. If you had 2 side stages going back and forth, and then they say, Danzig was ripping the stage apart after he was done.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. One thing too. Sorry. I just want to interject. No. Everything you said is like I agree with everything you just said. Additionally, Danzig's the headliner. There's a lot of complaints that he took too long on sound check. He's the headliner. His sound has to be perfect.
He's the only one whose sound fucking matters, because
who cares?
Want to listen to Northside Kings. It doesn't matter what their fucking sound check is, because they sound like shit anyway. They're
precisely.
Their biggest fucking bill was probably you know, 50 people in a goddamn bowling alley. So, you know.
So damn right you want to get it right.
No, fuck off. We don't have time to do 11 fucking bands when we've been reduced from 2 stages to 1 stage, all of which is not Glenn's fucking problem. Someone said in one of the videos, oh, Glenn demanded that it only be 1 stage. What does Glenn fucking care if there's only 1 stage or 2 stages?
Yeah, this is where this is
his stage. So this whole shit at the end about Glenn, not letting them go on because his band is tearing down the stage. They should be tearing down the stage. They should be able to pack up their shit and get the fuck out, because they're there to play a show and then be done. You know, fuck that.
Yeah, dude, you just hit a bunch of nails on the head. I mean, that's exactly it. If he's taking extra long, you know, sound check is incredibly important for bands, especially a band like Danzig. And you want to know something? If they're taking extra long, they're taking extra long because they needs to be right so that they can put on a good show. Because what is Glenn has been hired to put on a good show for the fans. So
whatever the ticket price was, $30, $40, $50, nobody paid that ticket price to see NSK, Danny's shit band, or whatever the 11. There's a reason that we don't know who the 11 to 14 other bands are, because they don't fucking matter. Okay, if it was Slayer, yeah, Slayer has a reason to talk about it. If they were kicked off, but they probably just said fuck that. It's a shitty little.
They might have seen that there was something
in
wrong
a
with the
reservation
promotion.
show. It's probably in a goddamn fucking Jeep hangar or something in the fucking desert. Nobody wants to go out there. Tuba City. Only reason I know the word Tuba City is because of this shit. I don't think anybody in the world knows. I've heard it's near Flagstaff. I haven't looked for it on a map, but
I've never heard of it before.
Tuba City is, unless they're a Danzig nerd and into this shit, or happen to live in fucking, or if they're the 3 people that live in Tuba City.
well, wait a minute. No, Tuba City is a Native American reservation.
Oh, okay.
So it's like there's a lot of people. I think there's a lot of people there. I don't really know how all that stuff works. Although I do know from my reading that there was an FBI agent there, because that's how it works. There has to be for things that happen on the reservation. You need an FBI agent. So there's actually an FBI agent at the thing, but whatever. In any case, now what we're going to do, because JW actually went over several points that we're going to recover. We're going to talk all about that now. And again, there's endless stuff to pour over and discuss with this. So hold on 1 second. I'm going to go to my share screen. We're going to do the share screen thing, and boom, here are my screenshotted things. This is from Blabbermouth. This is like right after it happened. I think this might've been from 2006. To make a long story short, this is what Danny said, and something JW, this is something we do often on the show, is we look at what people say within the context of the year of which it's said, because it changes. You know, as years and time passes, things change.
I'm already reading this, and it's already like contradicting their bullshit about Danzig moving up in the slot. This one says right here says Danzig refused to push back the original time slot.
Right. So it's exactly.
If I was there, I would be fucking mad. Okay. Right. I went to a festival once where they crammed Slipknot in, who was not originally on the bill, and I had to wait like another 45 minutes to see Iron Maiden. I was fucking pissed. Okay, I don't want to see Slipknot. If I want to see clowns on stage beating drums, I'll
Insane Clown Posse. All right. Okay, so here's what it says. To make a long story short, this is Danny from the band, the guy who punched Danzig. To make a long story short, the whole show was a disaster, and a few bands got bumped off. Mr. Danzig, or his management, question mark, refused to push back the original scheduled time slot. So Northside Kings and Rapid Fire. I guess that was the other band.
Rapid Fire. That was a big name.
Okay, well, would have to play after his set, whatever. We agreed to play later because we drove 6 hours and didn't feel like going home without playing. I mean, boo-hoo, man. Needless to say, as soon as Danzig was finished, the venue turned on the lights, and Danzig's crew and the staging company began to take the stage apart almost instantly. I confronted Mr. Danzig backstage while he was signing autographs and told him I thought he was an a-hole because of his rock star attitude and no consideration towards the few other bands that got bumped off tonight.
Just one quick comment. He's the only rock star in the fucking building. Go ahead.
And I'm sure that's the best way to approach Danzig after a show. Hey, I think you're an a-hole.
You're a rock star attitude.
Yeah, great way. Yeah, Glenn is really going to respond. Glenn is totally going to go, oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize to you for that. He's really going to take kindly to that sort of thing. In a fit of rage, he turned around and slammed me into the wall, yelling, F you, mother effer, trying to be a big, tough guy in front of his fans. I, in self-defense, punched him in the face, knocking him out as he was attacking me again. He went down, bleeding from his mouth, eyes rolled back, and in shock that he got knocked to the floor so quickly. Oh, so his eyes were rolling to the back of his head, but he was also in shock that he got knocked to the floor so quickly.
It's weird because Danny punches him, and then supposolly he
slaps or punches. Slaps or punches.
I think it glanced off him, and Glenn just fucking fell. But anyway, here's what he says. Okay, don't freaking film your incident and then have a testimony that completely contradicts the actual video. Okay, this whole shit about he slammed me up against the wall. No, dude, he fucking pushed you. You went back a few inches, then you swung back. You know, yeah, maybe you connected with Glenn. Glenn fell down. Whatever. How do you know that he KO'd? His eyes were rolling back. No, he freaking fell. He fell down, and there's
he bolted too.
You know, he didn't look inside and see the whites of his eyes rolling back in his head. Give me a fucking break. This guy's like writing cartoons, not a fucking reality show. He's an idiot.
Now, the next thing that's said here is a friend happened to tape the entire incident, and this is all documented. Many witnesses saw him attack me, and I did what any man would do. Now, here's another contradictory angle. 1 second, it's a friend who was videotaping. Another second, they're making a documentary. Another second, it's like it keeps changing who this person was with the videotape.
But what about so one thing that I was wondering today, and you know it if you're a little more diligent in seeking this stuff out. But so I've heard reference to this documentary that they are making. Okay. Where is that documentary? Because it seems like all we have is these clips on the YouTube.
Right. There's no documentary.
If there was a documentary that actually discussed it, I'm sure somebody would have brought it up and said, hey, look, this asshole's talking about this. This is what he says.
And they had been filming supposedly for a few years.
Yeah. And so like did that documentary ever get birthed? I don't think so. I don't think there was ever anything that actually became of it. And it's like, and why wouldn't you? Okay. You have the only interesting thing to ever happen to your shit ass band, and you don't go forward with making this fucking convoluted project. Nobody wants to see you play fucking Reservation, but they do want to hear the fucking story. Okay.
Right.
The reason that you got a book deal for whatever, to post on Amazon about Never Punch a Rock Star, it's not because you're the Northside Kings. It's because of who you knocked down.
Right.
Use the word knocked out. I think that's total bullshit.
Knocked down. Let's call it knocked down. I agree.
Knocked down.
Yes. Yes.
It's just fucking retarded.
So again, for our little tribunal, because you can consider this an independent fan investigation.
I'm a man of science.
Yes, we're mans of science. And so we decided that from now on, it's no longer known as the Danzig knockout video. It's the Danzig knockdown video.
Or even the fall down. Okay. I have fallen down many times. Okay. If I get caught off guard, I've walked into shit.
You're a Humpty Dumpty.
Okay. People fall down. Okay. Sometimes my eyes rolled back in the back of my head. No.
Right.
I think he's adding a lot. He's adding a lot of embellishment for something that he wasn't even fucking looking at.
Right.
Oh my God, his eyes rolled back. I could see the third ventricle of his vein going into the northeast quadrant, and it was pumping at 32 beats of fuck you.
Yeah, it's just it's ridiculous.
That's all horse shit.
It's ridiculous. All right, let's move on. We've got a lot of these to cover. Ready? Okay. So, whoa, that is super small. Look at that thing. All right, hold on. Sorry. Here. So now this was Danzig. Here's another thing that I want to quickly point out before we move on to this clip. One thing I want to point out, everything we know besides what some people have said on the internet has come from Danny and the Northside Kings. Danzig has said like 3 things about this thing. And if I'm truly being objective, and I want to be objective, even as a diehard Misfits nerd who loves Uncle Glenn, then I have to admit that Danzig's defensive response is pretty whack. It's pretty stupid. Like, honestly, he shouldn't have said anything at all. I don't know why he said what he said. I think it was kind of whack, if I'm being honest. Again,
just to jump in there.
Yeah, go ahead.
I suspect, based on the factual reports, or I should say, different takes from people who were there. I've seen some videos on the YouTube and stuff and all this. None of the reports on that go against the fact that, however you slice it, whether you think Glenn was a fucking monster, an asshole, he deserved to be hit, whatever. Regardless of where you come from on this issue, I think it's pretty consistent that concert, that event was an entire fucking shit show.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
And we've been at shit shows. Sometimes we've been the organizers of shit shows and are the main event of shit shows. And sometimes we've just been in attendance at shit shows, and it's fucking annoying. And I suspect that Glenn and the guys, along with probably 11 to 14 nobodies, probably dealt with a lot of shit that day. Just fucking getting the thing to happen. I mean, the fact that they would, if this happened, if I was Glenn and someone said, hey, after the show, make a little announcement that says, stick around. We have the other 11 to 14 bands about to play. No, I'm not doing that. And I know who else would not do that. Glenn Danzig. Okay, it's not his responsibility. And nobody in that freaking shitty bowling at whatever that fucking place is on the Tuba City reservation, nobody fucking wants to see that shit either. We see Danzig and we're done. Okay, we might go to a bar if it's open, and if Danzig got his set at 10 p.m., God bless him, we probably can hit last call at a fucking bar. Other than that, the night is done. There's nothing else going on in that concert hall that we care about.
Now, the thing is, yes, you're right. And the thing is, too, is that Glenn has literally said like 3 things about this. The other dude has talked about this endlessly. And so
it's a defining moment of his life.
Right. It's a defining moment of his life. But my point is that we really don't have much to contextualize everything, or at least we had to dig.
No, we have to fill in the gaps with a lot of speculation. But I think a lot of that speculation is based on, you and I are both concert, fanatics and rock and roll fanatics. We've been at this. I'm 47 years old. It's since probably age 16 or whatever, like this is all I fucking do. You're probably pretty similar. So regardless of the fact that we don't know all the details of what went on backstage and what led up to all this, what we do know is how shows work and the basic mechanics of this. And so I think this really is a testament to just how fucking amateur this guy is. And that doesn't mean that that's atypical. I see a lot of shit ass bands. They think they got their big break. Oh my God, we're opening for Danzig. No, you got to understand that going in already has all the risk, whether it's you're opening for Danzig or your Slayer or whoever you're opening for. Like that's maybe you're going to get a chance to be in front of some people or whatever. But even in the best of situations, things go wrong. And this was a fucking shit show. And guess what? When the shit show goes down, who's going to take a back seat? Not the star, not people that want to actually see stuff. The people that were there to fucking fill 8 hours, 10 hours of preamble, those are the ones that not only should take the back seat, but need to take a back seat. You're basically fillers at the ESPN sports show. When they have like the Grammys and it's like, they pay like those people to fucking fill seats and move around to like fill up the crowd shots. And then when the actual event comes and they're like, I get the fuck out, you know, Madonna's here and actual important people need these seats. You're a fucking seat filler. Okay. This is speculation on my part, but I bet it was actually, I shouldn't say I bet there was a pay to play, because then then
well, we're going to ask, we're going to have,
I want to know that. Yeah.
The panel person I want to bring on might be able to help us figure some of that stuff out. So let's go now. Let's go back to this. Let me go back to this. This is what we were going to look at. So when asked about the incident in a 2006 interview, so this is 2 years later with knack.com. This is actually really sad, because when you think that the guy, Danny, he still talks about this to this day. This is not just, Danzig says, yeah, I know the Northside Kings milked the video for all they could, but that was 2 years ago. I don't know.
They're milking it for all they can 15 years after that was said. So,
but that was 2 years ago. I don't know how much good it ended up doing for them. Are they even still around? The only people who keep bringing it up are you people, music hacks and Danzig nerds. And yes, I'm sick of talking about it, but the people who've always liked me probably still like me. The people who hate me probably still hate me. It
1,000%.
That's so true, man.
That bottom sentence, the people always liked me, still like me. The people that hate me still hate me. It didn't change anything. That could not be more accurate.
And I love that was his attitude.
Yeah.
Right after that. You know what I mean? I like, this is the only statement. See, he made that other statement later. This was the only statement he should have ever made about it. It was the most, it was Teflon. It was Teflon.
And you know why, people and I'm glad that you qualified the beginning of this and said this is not a trial, because Glenn shouldn't ever be on trial for this.
Right. Not a trial. It's an investigation.
He doesn't have anything to fucking prove or say.
Right.
Like, I think, if anything, like, why was that tough as shit even backstage near Glenn?
Oh, that is one of my points. That's one of my points.
Like, there's no Glenn should never be in the position of defending himself on this topic.
Why do you think he always has a bodyguard guy? Honestly, why? Like, exactly. That's why you always have you see these big guys that surround Glenn. It's precisely for situations like this. And I got to tell you,
keep this dumb shit from happening.
And you want to know something? I bet you whatever money he invests in that kind of entourage security, I bet it's worth every penny for you have to think, for every guy that gets through, how many guys had interference ran on them, and you didn't have an incident because of that.
Every fucking penny. Okay.
So
I'm just a dickhead on the internet, and I get dumb fucks, trespassing into my park, the hotel rooms. Like, JW, what the fuck? Who cares? But people fucking care. I can only imagine the type of shit that Glenn Danzig fucking has to deal with. So it's worth every penny, and it's, protects his brand, and it protects him, and it also protects everyone around him. I've heard from I can't remember which bodyguard it was. It was a guy that also did, security for Korn and stuff like that. And he basically just said, look, he's like, I'm there to protect everybody from Glenn and to just keep shit chill. He's like, he's gonna fucking snap. He's gonna fucking go crazy. And it's like, all right, Glenn, just chill. Get these fuckers out of his way, because 99% of them probably do deserve to be punched. And we all have different, default settings as to when that little punch trigger goes into effect. That guy was up in Danzig's face. Also, like, the thing that they never talk about, when you get done with a show, like, your fucking nerves are through the fucking roof. You are not ready. Look at any interview with, like, Henry.
Well, also, what if you have a bad show? If you have a bad show,
probably the worst fucking day. I mean, God can only imagine what a mess that was. And so, like, and then, Danzig just wants to fucking go drink a kombucha and just chill. watch some fucking, watch some fucking Mighty Mouse cartoons or something. And then there's this
wrestling.
Gets in his fucking face. Hey man, how come you didn't announce us? How come you didn't tell him that we're gonna go on? Dude, wrong time, wrong attitude.
Okay? Wrong venue in front of all those people. In front of all those people.
Okay, and yeah, shouldn't even if you're so dumb that you think you have like a case to submit, talk to fucking anybody but Glenn. Glenn didn't organize the fucking concert.
Right.
What does he fucking care?
Right.
Just knows all of a sudden that there's this loudmouth asshole shouting at him. And like, yeah, okay. He fucking pushed him because there was a loudmouth shouting at him. And look at his fucking
All right, ready? Hold on. We're gonna move on. I want to get through these testimonies. Okay,
Yeah.
All great stuff, and I agree. Yes, we're so far. You and I are on the same page about everything.
Good to hear it.
Okay, so this came from a group on Facebook. I'm not going to say which the group was. I want to leave the person who posted it and the people that they're talking about anonymous, because when I tried to further corroborate and back up the claim, I could not get a solid answer. However, I personally believe that the person who posted this had no reason to exaggerate or lie. I think the person that could not corroborate for me didn't want to, involve, themselves in any which way with drama. And I can understand that. And so I'm leaving this comment anonymous. But I think it's a pretty reliable, again, this is secondhand information told by someone who was there. So that's our first account. Ready? This is what they say. Wow, why are these so small when I do this? Basically, NSK, Northside King, was bitching at Glenn for taking their time slot. But the reason for that was that the Northside Kings was late. So Zig got bumped up and a longer set. When they finished, festival people began tearing down the stage, etc. And the Northside King fat dude confronts him and instigates him. We all see GD push him and get a fist to the lip, and he goes down. But at no point was GD knocked out. He gets up, not in the video, shakes it off, cleans blood. Meanwhile, the fat man was a hit and run bitch, threw the punch, and fled. Now, hold on 1 second, real quick, before we go further. This is obviously from someone who is very biased, or whoever is telling this story is a bit biased in a certain sense. A few things that they did get wrong that I know from reading elsewhere. Glenn did take the time slot, but it was not necessarily. I don't know if the Northside were late on purpose or late by accident. I don't know. They drove 6 hours to get there. I don't know if it was because of lateness, because elsewhere, as we're going to read, apparently there were other logistics at play, which is why Danzig wanted his slot moved up. He was doing a favor by filling the slot for Slayer, who pulled out, and he didn't want to go on at 12. He wanted to move his slot up because he had to be at the next show. That is, from my understanding, what happens. Logically, that makes the most sense to me. Could it have been some rock star diva type nonsense where, hey, I just want to play at 10:30 or whatever, or 10 o'clock? Maybe. Is Glenn entitled to that? I mean, again, Glenn's the headliner of the show. There are 11 bands. As JW said, the promoter or whoever has irresponsibly overbooked the show, whether it was because of pay to play to subsidize Danzig's guarantee, whatever the situation may be, the show is overbooked and people are going to get cut. And if the headliner, who the whole show is predicated on, makes a change, whether they're shifting their weight as a name or not, is really inconsequential for, as you said, the show being run so poorly that the shrapnel is going to be felt by the opening bands no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's that. Now moving on. Here are actual comments. Again, How do we know that they're actual comments? We don't. I have no way, again, so this still technically counts as conjecture, but it's eyewitness conjecture. People are in the comments watching these videos and then talking about their experiences, saying that they were there. I don't know about you, JW, but when I'm watching YouTube video of a show where I was at, I sometimes comment without some fact or detail saying I was there, blah, blah, blah. I have no reason not to believe that these people were not there, but it would be irresponsible in our unbiased.
I have reason to believe that they were not there in many cases, or I should say that I believe that it's certainly not out of the box to speculate that they or to
the YouTube commentary
because it's YouTube. Okay,
it's possible. We have to weigh these things. You have to weigh these things.
Everybody wants to be part of the story. No, okay. Have you ever met someone that was at the show? Like, I haven't. It was like the most talked about fucking show, but I've never actually heard from someone.
I'll tell you what, JW, I'll tell you what. Let's read them and you decide. I'll let you be the judge. I've already decided how I feel. Let's see. Yeah, I want to. You can make your own. You can come to your own opinion and agree or disagree whether you think it was.
I'll say whether it's sincere or insincere bullshit.
Okay, I like that. That's good. That's good. That's great. That's great. Ready? Let's begin with the first one. Sorry. Okay, this is from Mordecai Gray 5 months ago. I love these videos, but I worked this show and there's a lot of bad information in this leading up to the event. This was Slayer's concert. They canceled. Glenn was playing at the Marquee the day prior in Tempe. So the festival basically begged him to come and fill the spot so they wouldn't have a riot on their hands. Glenn was nice enough to do it, needed an earlier set so that he could leave on time to continue his tour, played, left, and the local crew started taking apart the stage because they were not going to risk noise curfew for some local bands that no one came to see. Glenn had nothing to do with it. The promoter was in control, but most local bands just aren't smart enough to know how the business works, which is why they've gone nowhere. What are your thoughts?
That sounds to me like a 100% sincere and accurate report. And the reason why is because it basically corroborates all the shit that I've said, which is normal knowledge and normal experience from this type of shit. Okay, no one cares about the opening bands. No, how these things go down and the shit show that they were. So that's all consistent with that. Anyway, I saw the video freezing there. I don't know if the audio was jacked up.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay,
you're
cool.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry, I lost my track. But I was going to say that to me sounds very consistent. And also, when you talk about, was this Glenn's show originally or was this Slayer's show originally? I think that actually lends a lot of weight to the theory that it was Slayer's show originally, because like I said, I'm a Danzig guy. I talk Danzig fucking 24 hours a day with other Danzig nerds. Never met anyone that went to that show. It would make sense that it was a last minute substitution to get the freaking pissed off fans versus if this is something that was actually promoted beforehand as a Danzig. So that totally explains why I've never found anyone that went to it. They found out that if they were lucky enough to, know the guys from the venue or know another band, hey, by the way, Slayer couldn't make it. Danzig's gonna be there. Oh, okay, cool. We're in Tempe anyway. We'll drive another however many hours from Tempe to that place. But and here's the other thing too. Going back to what a pile of shit Northside Kings are. They said they drove 6 hours to do this. Okay, if this is your big break, this is your big shining moment you want to do, you get up at fucking 0 o'clock in the morning and load that fucking van and head out. You don't go, hey, we have a show time at 7 o'clock. Let's hit the road about 2 and grab Chick-fil-A on the way. Fuck you. You need to fucking get your shit together. You should have gone out the day before, got a fucking shitty ass hotel on the outskirts of the reservation, got your shit, been ready for fucking load in at the time that shit was supposed to be on the fucking dot. Then you could actually have an argument and go, okay, look, we have this stuff. Look, I don't give a fuck about their argument, but at least it would have made some sense. And you couldn't just say, oh, they fucking got late. as far as I'm concerned, if that's your big break, if that's what your defining moment is, and you're so excited to open for Slayer and/or Danzig, you better fucking act like you give a shit. Get there, not on time, 5 hours before time, because shit changes. And
Right.
bullshit, this is bullshit for them to think that the changes are to accommodate them. You are a fucking accessory. You're an enabler. Everything about opening bands is to support and prop up the star, not you. Okay? So that's how it fucking works.
Rue Morg, one of my moderators from the group, as well as a listener, a dedicated listener to the show.
I think I know him.
Yeah, I think he's in Keep on Danzig. He said he heard the same story, and I trust Rue very much. So I think, yeah, I'm glad. It makes me feel better knowing that. So where's the site you were showing that stuff from? So what I did was I took screenshots from YouTube and then I put them in order so that I created a presentation for us. I really spent a lot of time on the show, you guys. Like, when you guys think I just dick around, I'm really putting in the hours. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first one. Okay, ready for the second one?
Thanks, Rue. I just saw his comment. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. This one is more of a general tech question that I think our panelist who will come on later can corroborate some of this stuff for us. This is from Hippa to the Hoppa. Hippa to the Hoppa. Hippa to the Hoppa to the Hippa to the Hoppa. He posted this 6 months ago. Anyone who has ever been in a band can tell you that sound check is a nightmare when they book multiple bands. They book a shitload of bands because these opening bands make the money to pay the headliner. So the headliner makes his money, the club makes money off of the bar, and every opening band just gets to say, I played with Danzig or whatever band. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a bad Ponzi scheme. That's pay to play. Anyways, the club doesn't care what any of the opening bands sound like. They just want their money, and people, so most of the time, they don't even let them have a sound check. I remember once buying a new wireless mic because I was sick of using the clubs, and the sound guy said, we already have 5 other bands using the outputs all up. So sorry, you have to use the regular mics today. Bringing my own mic became such a hassle that I just stopped bringing it. They basically sound check the main band, and then after that, there isn't any time for any other band to get sound checked. Even the co-headliners just settle with the sound the club provides. A lot of time, co-headliners aren't even getting paid. They're actually paying to be on the tour for the exposure to seem like they are more famous than they are. So usually the club has its own sound guy for every band. But when a mainstream tour comes in, they have their own sound guy for their own shit. It's really just a huge, complicated effing mess, especially if the venue isn't a stadium. Hearing this guy's story is one thing. You hear the story and you say, what a clusterfuck. But actually going through it yourself and experiencing it in person, it's hard to even describe, even though I detailed it out. And the headliners or main band have no effing clue what goes on with sound checks or time or whatever. They just know to go out and perform and get back in their bus or taxi to the hotel and get effed up and fuck chicks. So they have almost no concept nor care about any of the other bands. So unfortunately, Danzig, as much as I like him getting knocked out was kind of a hooray moment for anyone who's been in a band who had to deal with that shit. Lol. I even remember one show I went to all my friends who were performing at, but didn't do it because I had just did a different show. So I was at a soundtrack, blah, 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 and everyone turned their tickets. Okay. Oh, actually, this is important. I went to all my friends were performing to a show that all my friends were performing at, but I didn't do it because I had just did a different show. So I was at soundcheck with them, and after everyone turned in their ticket sales and got their percentage from it, the club and the headliner goes, okay, no one can perform because the headliner wants their new band to showcase with them. But you can, wow, this is really not written well. But you can pay and keep the money you earn. So it's like, yeah, okay, cool. We get the money for not performing. But everyone who bought tickets to see them are going to be fucking pissed. It's such a shady business. And just to tack on to that comment real quick, about in regards to everything that this guy is saying. Again, no matter whether he's happy or sad about Danzig getting punched or not getting punched, I think that what he is saying, he's speaking from personal experience, POV, having done pay-to-play sort of stuff. What do you think, JW?
I think it's very consistent. I mean, this guy is talking about what we, being in or around the industry, already know. You know that, like I said, those typically when you have all these damn opening bands, that often is a pay-to-play situation, right? And so, you know, nobody fucking cares. You know, typically where they either they pay a slot fee to get on the bill, or you know, they pay whatever few $100 and then they get a handful of tickets that they either give out or sell to their homies. But no, like never is it actually, yeah, sure. You know, they might have a handful of friends that they convince to go to the show, but they're not the draw. Nobody fucking cares. And yet I understand the frustration of being one of those, you know, theoretically hardworking bands who are just trying to hustle and get their chance. But yeah, again, you're an accessory, you know,
right?
Sucks that you have to pay to be that accessory, but you're not the show. No one fucking cares about you.
If anything, if there's anything I would say about all this sort of stuff, I would say the following. I would say and again, this is a non-musician's, this is a music goer's perspective, not a musician's perspective. Be the band with the tightest fucking set, play 20 minutes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Smoke the motherfucking stage and bounce. That's it. And then just hang out in the crowd. Let people come up to you and be like, dude, I loved your set.
I'm the I've already given full disclosure. I'm the guy that hates opening bands. But let me give you an example of an opening band that did it right. Okay, I went to see Ministry in like 2008 or something down in San Diego at the House of Blues. And one of the opening bands was this band called the Hemlock. Didn't give a fuck about them. Still don't give a fuck about them. But they earned my respect big time because this guy, Chad, who was also the lead singer, he's in the merch. He was in the crowd. He's like, hey, you know, I'm Chad. Hey, so glad you came out. Hey, check out my band. We're going to be opening. And then as soon as they finished their set, boom, he was off. He went straight to the merch booth. He's hustling. He's like, hey, you want a demo CD? You want this? You want that?
That's grinding.
I'm like, look, you know what, man? I'm like, they weren't really, you know, super my thing, but I wanted that guy to succeed because of his work ethic and because of his attitude. He wasn't there thinking like, oh, Ministry owed him something or anyone owed him something. He had a shot. He freaking hustled. He busted ass. And like, you know, to this day, like I couldn't name you one song or album by them. Like I said, they're bad. But if anyone talks shit about them, I'm freaking up front and center. I'm like, hey man, those guys are fucking solid dudes. They fucking work. They kick the ass, you know? And so like, yeah, like you said, you know, get in there, do the work, do your shit. And so, and I would say too, you know, this whole thing about trying to like coattail onto some other band and like do that, like that's kind of weak anyway. Okay. If you get the opportunity, great. You know, if they offer you a slot, great. But this whole like trying to buy your way onto some cred, it's just kind of weak as far as I'm concerned. Build up your fan base. Play the fucking
Don't define yourself by who you're opening for.
Okay. You know your fucking place. Okay. You aren't ready to have a bill with Danzig. If you were, people would know who you were. People would already know your name. There'd be a reason for people to actually arrive 2 to 8 hours early, you know, but you're not. What's the other band? Rapid Fire? You know, come on. I guarantee you the other 12 bands on that bill were just as forgettable.
Well, now I remember what I wanted to say before and I forgot. This is what I wanted to say. Danzig, here's the other thing about Danzig, that this really must have been a strange situation, because everything that we know about Danzig as a band, Danzig is such a championer of supporting bands. Holy crap. Think about all of the people all the bands that opened for Danzig in the 90s. Every big band that would come out of the 90s, they all opened for Danzig.
That
You know
was
what I'm
their
saying?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Soundgarden,
White Zombie.
White
Korn.
Zombie, Korn,
You know?
all those bands. And you want to know what's funny? Glenn put together Blackest of the Black. Why? Because he wanted to highlight bands. He wanted to use his brand to highlight bands that he felt, whether they're listenable or not. I'm not really into that
God bless
stuff,
him.
but like he wants to bring that stuff. And you want to know where all that stuff comes from? It comes from what he dealt with when he was in the Misfits. It comes from going on tour with the Damned in England and being treated quite poorly and walking off the tour. Yeah. You know what I mean? So Danzig is, and I have heard so many stories. Just recently, the girls from the Butcher Babies, they're a band that opened for Danzig in 2013. Yeah, and you want to know something? Danzig was so hospitable. I hear these stories about how hospitable Danzig is, and hey, do you want our waters or whatever? We're done with them. Just like, here, take our craft stuff. We didn't touch it. Just trying to really help out bands. So that's why this whole idea of Danzig, like trying to steamroll over small opening bands, it doesn't really fit in with what kind of person he is. Is he capable of doing something like that? Absolutely. Not saying that he's not.
And again, that probably lends a lot of weight to the theory that, or maybe it's a fact, that it was originally Slayer's gig, because generally the openers are people that Danzig has already vetted. It might be shit that I don't give a fuck about, but it's at least something that Danzig cares about. And,
precisely.
Wants people to see or wants the chance to see. So,
So that's another thing.
There was no emotional investment in this.
Let's go to the next. So here's the next comment. We got a couple more of these guys. So this is from Emery Whitehair. This was 1 month ago. This is Emery Whitehair who wrote this. I was there that night. I was screwed, brewed, and saw the feud. I was screwed, brewed, and I saw the feud. It happened a few feet from where I was standing. I still have my concert entry ticket from that night. The crowd loved Danzig that night. Every time he got off the stage, the crowd demanded that he got his ass back up on stage there, and they wanted more of him. I was there. Real quick, can I just say, if you're watching and enjoying this content, if you're new to this channel, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, or subscribe. This is a great way to support the channel.
Does it show how many people are actually watching?
Right now we have 17 people watching, and we had upwards of 25 at one point, which is pretty good for the Super Bowl, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
not bad. So then the Bogcast, which is what the Bogcast is, this comment. We watched this episode with this guy who did sound for another band. He's one of the guys who's talked about this. So these comments were in the comments of this Bogcast thing, and those guys were whatever. Those guys were whack to begin with, but the Bogcast guy goes, "Wow, that is badass. I had only ever heard of a few people that can claim they actually saw the hit. Were you aware of the backstory about the bands getting screwed over over when you saw it?" And then Emery replies, "I don't think it was Danzig's fault. In my opinion, it was about the stage time. The crowd loved Danzig. We demanded more that night. A lot of the fans were very surprised he even showed up out of the blue in our nowhere town. I even heard the loud smack across the face when he got punched. Yeah, I even saw him being dragged away through the hallway. It was a gymnasium at a school called Grayhill High, home of the Knights. Come to think of it, I should laminate the ticket. Considering the fact it's part of metal history, I'm gonna sell it on eBay." So this corroborates what you're kind of saying, though. I mean, and what the other comment, the other unrelated comment,
also this whole her comments about the last minute. I think we can probably just put the last minute substitution for Slayer. I think we can probably just throw that in the fact pile.
Let's do it. It's going in the fact pile of our investigation.
So, and I would say, why is everybody giving Glenn shit? He saved the fucking show.
Right.
And he said she lives either in Tuba City or out somewhere near Tuba City.
Right. She says it's a nowhere town.
Nowhere town. It's absolutely accurate. Who else is going to get to show up in a freaking moment's notice and
Right.
their shitty show.
Right. Okay. Moving on. Okay. Our next comment is from, I can't pronounce this. This is Apigarces. This was 9 months ago. This is from APG, whatever. Doesn't matter his name. He goes, this guy says, I was there. Ready? My band, this was the name of his band, Creepitus.
Also huge on the scene.
Huge.
Everyone loves Creepitus.
Everybody knows Creep. Hey, did you get that latest Creepitus EP, man? It's so so killer.
Setting the stage on fire. Go ahead.
Yeah. My band Creepitus opened that day and later watched Danzig get smashed. This guy in the video speaks the truth exactly as how I remember it. One thing not mentioned, it was hot as fuck outside where everybody with a ticket had to wait to get in. Like 110 degrees hot with no water or facilities outside the gates. During Starboy's lengthy sound check, they're calling Danzig Starboy in this. During Starboy,
that was another shitty band.
Yeah. During Starboy's lengthy sound check, we and a few other bands went out to the gates to toss out some bottles of water. And you want to know what's, oh, come on. Every show, Danzig is throwing water into the crowd. Shut up. He always throws water into the crowd. It's just such, like, this is ridiculous. I mean, whatever. Like, made a lot of friends that day. Tuba City rocks like a motherfucker. A couple of guys took our sheep's head stage props home for dinner. We smoked, a couple of guys. Okay, so they put sheep's heads on the stage.
Very original.
Creepitus put some sheep heads on the stage and they took them home for dinner. We smoked a ton of pot, hung out with Tommy Prong. Yeah, these guys in the podcast call him Tommy Prong. It's really funny.
So is this because I can't remember his name. He had a funny nickname that
Tommy Prong.
No. I'm not talking about Tommy Prong. The guy from the video. He looked like Kenneth Keith Kallenbach from the old Howard Stern show. The long-haired hippie dude.
I don't know.
But is this the same guy or is this a different?
I'll be honest with you.
He called him Tommy Prong too, and it's funny because you get a lot of shit like this when things like this go down. Everybody tries to kind of ride on the last guy's comment or story. So you get one guy refers to him as Tommy Prong, doesn't know shit about the band.
Right.
We're talking about Tommy Victor, obviously. If they tuned in, probably know.
From Prong. He's from Prong.
Yeah, Tommy Prong.
Hey, Tommy Prong, what's going on? Hey,
Gabagool. Yeah. So that's kind of funny that anyway, it looks like you still got a little bit on there. Hung out with Tommy Prong, got called back for an encore. Sure you did, Creepitus. The very thought of it still makes my dick rock hard. That would probably do agree.
Right.
And now I have stories for days, even if I don't play out so much. I'm a part of history, the history of drunks. Okay, Creepitus guy.
So is Creepitus guy full of shit, or what is shit and what is real?
I can't even remember what he's fucking talking about. I think it's.
He says that.
I don't think he's totally full of shit. I think his perspective is full of shit. I think this whole laying it on Danzig is garbage. They're saying, oh, Danzig took too long for the fucking sound check.
Right.
Not Danzig's problem. He's the only, like you said, he's the only one whose sound check is important.
Well, but the sound check went, but here's the thing though. The sound check is going long because there's something wrong. And as we know, being Danzig fans, we know how temperamental Danzig is with his monitors. He hates
these dickheads probably thought they had a sound check at XYZ time. But here's what we know too. We know that they were originally supposed to have two stages and they had one. So
right.
You already overbooked freaking 14 bands who were going to originally cycle through two stages. Now you got the same number of crappy bands cycling through one stage doing sound check. Of course it's going to run late.
How are you going to blame the headliner?
That's not the headliner's fault at all. Danzig was a hero, not a fucking villain. And so this whole shit, I think, I don't think there's any major glaring thing. When he says he smoked pot with Tommy Prong, he was probably smoking a joint and Tommy walked by and like nodded at.
Well, he doesn't say that he smoked pot with Tommy Prong. He says we smoked a ton of pot.
Hung out with Tommy Prong. And this is like the thing too. Like he's trying to make a story sound more interesting. It's the same people on Facebook. Oh my God, I'm friends with Tommy Prong. Yeah, you're Facebook friends. You sent him a message once that said, you know, is cleansing still available on CD? And oh my God, he replied to me and told me I could buy it on Amazon. Like, no, that doesn't make you guys fucking homies. It doesn't mean you hung out. And even if you did, it doesn't fucking matter. Who cares?
So there you go. All right, I'm moving on to the next one.
I used to hate Tommy Prong, but I grew to love him.
I actually don't have a problem with Tommy Prong either. I like Tommy Prong a lot. I like the way that the band works now for Glenn. Do I love the original lineup? Of course, we all love the original lineup.
Yeah, golden.
I'm happy that there is a functioning lineup with Danzig. Doesn't have, again, what was the problem that plagued the Misfits? I was just talking about this on one of the YouTube comments on one of my other videos. They were always plagued by losing members, guitar players and drummers. That was always the Misfits' problem. They just kept losing them. So to have a stable band lineup with no drama is a very, desirable trait. Hold on. Eric says, I got mutual friends with Northside Kings, Danny. They love bragging on his behalf about having knocked out Danzig. It's pretty sad. I want to additionally say, this is how weird Facebook and Facebook algorithms are. I started sharing in private groups about how I wanted to do this video. And do you know who popped up on my suggested friends list? Northside Kings Danny. Danny Macaroni popped up on my friends list. And I thought it was hilarious. And yes, if you go on his wall, he is still selling Danzig Bullwinkle skull shirts with like a big Band-Aid over the nose, like, I knocked out Danzig. Like, just still doing it. Let's move on to the next comment. So this is from Drucifer666, and this is from 1 year ago. Another guy, Drew says, I actually played the show in the band F-U-M-E. Fume. Now, JW, while I'm reading this, I want you to think what Fume stands for. F-U-M-E. And the roster was made up of 14 bands. Also, there were 2 or 3 other bands that were supposed to be on the bill as well. So maybe Drew is getting his numbers wrong, because if he is not getting his numbers wrong, that's upwards of 17 bands, not 11 bands. Not 14 bands, but 17 bands. Again, we're not saying that that's a correct number. This is just what this guy says. He says, we played that show as well as several other bands. There's Crepitus. Crepitus is mentioned.
And Broken Cuffs.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget Broken Cuffs. And others before they fucked it up. Before they fucked it up. Who is they? There were several bands like, Children of Tragedy.
Nice.
Children of Tragedy that unfortunately did not get to play all the band. Okay, this is interesting. And what do you? Let me ask you this, JW. All the bands got 15 minutes, including setup and teardown time. It was fucking bullshit. Do you think this guy was there? Do you think that's 15 minutes setup and breakdown time is real?
No, I don't, because that's complete garbage. Because if they were alternating stages, I could see that theoretically being a possibility. But this whole dealing with the bullshit of setup to do a 15-minute set, no, they would have probably just axed it down to, a minimal number of opening bands. But I could say that perhaps, given that there's 14 to 15 shitty opening bands, perhaps if it was a matter of pay to play and the promoter / manager / organizer, doesn't want to do any refunds or out of pockets or deal with any bullshit of these guys coming back for recourse, I could see where he's just like, all right, well, we got only 5 hours. Okay, let's just give them all 15-minute slots, including setup. But again, it's like everything up to Danzig. No one knows what happens because nobody cares. I'm sorry, Crepitus. I'm sorry, Fume, which probably okay. You wanted me to guess what Fume stands for. Okay, just knowing the bullshit fucking bro dog dipshit that yeah, fucking fume, bro. Like it probably stands for something really fucking retarded, like fuck you motherfuckers every day. You know? Because check this out, like, you know, I'm not going to judge people on appearance, but I fucking will. So do you got Danny Macaroni sitting there in his fucking...
I love that we call him Danny Macaroni.
Danny Macaroni, okay? He's there in his fucking wife beater, this black tank top. He looks like every drunken shithead that came out of a trailer on fucking Cops because he's, you know, been pushing around his old woman and stuff. So, you know, do I put a whole lot of credence in these fucking wannabe tough guys? No, it's just fucking bullshit. It's fucking fronting. This guy with the FUME band, nobody fucking cares about any of these dickheads. They are dreamers. They want to talk about this event because it's something that people can remember. They know the Danzig thing, and now, assuming this guy was in Creepitus or FUME or Children of Tragedy, you know, then they can talk about this thing because they're hoping that these pieces of legend get passed on and they can see their name in print. But these guys are no different than when we were fucking dumbass 15-year-olds. We'd make a logo on our peachy folder, we'd carve it into a desk, and we'd talk about getting our big breaks. That's them, you know. God knows how old these are, but if you're over the age of 14, you're too old for that shit. You should just suck it up and move the fuck on. Nobody wants you around. Nobody fucking cares. Your pay-to-play bullshit is just an inconvenience for the rest of us that actually came to see a real band, whether it's Slayer or Danzig. And check this out. How fucking cool is it that Danzig was a substitute, and the people that actually went there, the people, ticket buyers, actual attendants, they say Danzig kicked ass, okay? I'm not happy when I have to see a band that I didn't pay to see. I'm saying that on behalf of Slayer fans, you know, like maybe I'm sure there's a lot of crossover, but not all of them, you know, and whether it's even a band you like or not, you're not happy about getting a different band. But if you get that different band and they kick so much ass that you leave going, fuck yeah, that was awesome. That's a serious win. So again, Danzig saved the day. These guys are just crying because, you know, they had impossible pipe dreams that they thought were going to come true and wouldn't have even come true in the best of situations. So they can just get back in line and shut the fuck up.
Real quick, I'm going to interject here. Two things. First, I want Rusty Murdergram says, of the Danzig sound checks I've observed, and I'm sure that he has for sure, the band checks, and I think Zing actually roughed in Glenn's mic and monitors, meaning that Zing does a rough thing because Zing does sound, and then Glenn comes out and fine tunes it pretty quickly. And I would say that Russell is a great authority, or is pretty good authority on that. He would know. And so what we're going to do now, real quick, while I have everybody, I just wanted to I sort of talked about this previously. We're going to take a moment to talk about a new T-shirt design that I have in my shop. If you are interested to hear real quick, I've been wanting to do this Arthur Googie inspired T-shirt design for some time. So this is it right here.
Nice.
You can't have another cheeseburger, baby. You can get that in my shop. All of the money that is generated from the sales of these T-shirts goes towards facilitates the creation of my documentary. So please take a moment, support if you like, and check out this shirt. You can get them in a bunch of different colors. We got hoodies. We got zip-up hoodies. Look, it's even on the back. Listen, you could be the coolest Misfits nerd at the show with the coolest in reference that nobody knows. Everyone's like, oh, this guy knows. Oh, you know what I mean? Be the cool Misfits nerd that every female Misfits nerd, if they exist. That's not true. That was wrong. Be the cool guy that talks to everybody in the room because of how awesome their shirt is. You can't have another cheeseburger, so check it out. I'm gonna put the link in the comments now. Okay, that's it. Sponsor message is over. Back to our regularly scheduled. Oh, don't want to look at that yet.
I'll say really quick about the last comment was about Steve Zing.
Yeah,
just coming in and how Steve would facilitate a lot of the sound stuff on that. Danzig's bands are fucking. His bandmates are absolute fucking workhorses. They run a tight ship. They not have a lot of fucking fat that should be trimmed like a lot of other bands. Okay, I went to the show in Pomona in like 2015, and guess who's wearing a fucking security shirt and walking the line telling people, hey, no cameras during the show? It's Steve fucking Zing, okay? Okay, like these guys they're not, they use the word rock star, and they should, because they're the stars. They're the ones that we want to see. But it's not, I know they want to say like, oh, they have this fucking rock star attitude. Like, they've always run a tight ship, and Steve Zing, I always see him before the shows or sometimes after the shows. That guy is fucking cool as hell. And
hell yeah, love you, Steve.
They work their fucking ass off. So this whole if anyone's out there trying to paint these guys as divas or something, you don't know what it's about. So fuck off.
I just want to take a moment and apologize to my female listeners for my ignorant and silly comment. That's all I will say about that. Moving on. We're moving on now. We are moving on to our next comment. I admit when I'm wrong or say something stupid, which I do from time to time. Okay, moving on. Anyway, Waffen Collider. Where was management, the promoters? If I heard the story right, there were 11 bands who didn't get to play. Either way, this was a mess of a planned event. Also, people or bands didn't get paid either, and they didn't have to drive their DIY on their own dime. I would be pissed too, but Danzig just performs. He doesn't manage the night and the local ordinance.
No.
There's a little more to it, I'm sure. Though I think Danzig could have handled it better, especially Danny as well. Old history nonetheless. Keep on keeping on. I think this was a month ago. I think that is a really great sort of comment. That makes sense to me. Thoughts? Okay. Hey, good. No, that's good. Moving on.
Move on, man. Move on. I think he's saying the same thing as people do.
I know. This is hold on. We just want to say, Russell says, point being, Glenn didn't seem to have any interest in being a diva at Soundcheck, meaning that Glenn was pretty relaxed because he had Steve Zing, a guy that he's known for years and years and years. If anybody knows what Danzig likes, it's going to be Steve Zing. And Steve puts that stuff on lock. So there must have been something really, really wrong. Oh, wait a minute. This Russell, this was before Steve was in the band. This was 2004. We didn't think about that. So Steve wasn't even there. But meaning that
he might have been doing sound check though.
But when Steve was in the band, Steve started running sound in that way. Yeah. Russell, great points. Great points. Thank you. That's funny. I forgot the cheeseburger thing. I'm so glad you're not mad. That's good. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Next comment. Let's get through these comments. All right. Damn mean. He said this 6 years ago. Anyone can get knocked out. So this is talking about the punch. Anyone can get knocked out. I think it was a case where Danzig never thought the dude would actually, and this is my theory. Here, I'm going to pause real quick because this is the good time to introduce my theory as I was reading through this stuff. Number one, I don't know much about UFC. One of the things that I love about Joe Rogan is I love hearing Joe Rogan talking about fighting. I don't know anything about fighting, but I can listen to Joe Rogan talk about it because he breaks it down in very interesting logistics that I can pseudo understand, and he makes it very digestible for someone like me. And one thing that I've learned from watching Joe Rogan discuss and learning more about UFC through Joe Rogan is that when you get, like, if there's sweet spots on the face, if you get hit at that right sweet spot, you will either get knocked out, you will buckle, you will momentarily get thrown off your feet. There are so many things that can happen. And that's what I think this guy is touching on with his comment, which also leads me to say this, and this is my theory that I presented to JW when we were testing out the equipment earlier. I said this to JW. This is my theory. I'm going to just say it right now since we're here. Theory. Danny was 100% prepared for a physical confrontation based on some other things that were said via podcasts that I had listened to from someone who was friends with Danny. Danny was ready to fight Glenn in some way, shape, or form. Glenn absolutely did not think that this confrontation was going to get physical beyond him pushing the guy. So my theory is Danny was prepared for a physical fight. Glenn was not. Before the show even happened, Danny was exclaiming how he was going to knock out Danzig by the end of the night. This was said by the sound man, and this is on YouTube. This is on a YouTube podcast. This is said by a sound man who was there, who was friends with Danny. The sound man claims that he was trying to calm Danny down, telling Danny, don't go over to Danzig, don't do anything. And the next thing you know, this happens. So here's where, and I guess this is also the perfect moment to talk about. I said we were going to dance around the punch, but now we're at the center, we're at the sun for a moment. So let's talk about it. Here's the thing. Again, irrefutable. Danzig got punched in the face and Danzig fell. It happened 100%. A bunch of things to consider going into this Joe Rogan sort of tangent thing. One, weight class. Danny might have had 100 pounds on Danzig. What's not to say that he could literally not have had 100 pounds? That's number one.
In a foot or two.
Right. Number two, he definitely is taller than Danzig, although I don't know how much taller, which means that he has more of a reach. That's number two. Number three, Danny is younger than Danzig. Glenn is 50 years old when this happens. This is not to excuse Danzig or to excuse anything. This is just to understand further context of everything that went down, because this guy parades around going, I knocked Glenn Danzig out cold and made him bleed from the nose, and it was in shock. All those things need to be taken into account. So why is Danzig, and this is what leads me to this, why is Danzig pushing Danny? For a bunch of reasons, some of which we've already discussed. He's possibly mad about how the show went. He's probably pissed about the sound check incident earlier. He's trying to sign autographs and meet fans, and this guy is getting in his face. Here's the biggest reason of all, in my opinion. And again, pure conjecture, people. I always like to state this when I start talking. I don't actually know. I think Glenn pushed the guy because A, the guy is coming to him and saying stuff to him that he doesn't like to hear, but B, there are people watching. Right or wrong, Danzig is in a position where he's got to push the guy.
I'm going to take a piss real fast. And
go ahead.
Keep talking.
All right, I'm riffing. Go ahead. Do your thing. So while JW is away, I can see when he comes back. I'll bring him back down. So Danzig is surrounded by people. He's in a face-to-face confrontation. Here's another thing that we may or may not know. How aware, and Danzig would later claim in that thing that he would say, because he says, I let him hit me because there was a camera watching and I had to fall down. How aware was Danzig of this camera? I don't think Danzig necessarily knew to take a fall and fall down because he didn't want to get sued or get into a thing. Why would he push the guy in the first place? I think Danzig potentially, and again, pure conjecture, potentially Danzig saw a camera or saw the crowd or saw a combination of camera and crowd and pushed the guy because it was the only way to, it was the only way. He had to make a spectacle. He had to do his Danzig thing, and that's what he was doing. He was trying to be, hold on, JW's back. He was trying to do he was trying to do the Danzig macho, whatever. I'm friggin' Danzig sort of thing. He pushed the guy. He never expected that guy to swing at him. And maybe, again, I don't know where his security was at the time, but maybe he might have even been expecting security to break things up. Now, there are other examples in the past and the present and the future where Glenn has gotten into it with people. There are a bunch of Misfit shows where he's swung at people. People have piled on him. He's dived at the last Samhain show. He dives into the crowd like the Dark Knight Returns and punches that dude right in the audience. I mean, Glenn is not unfamiliar to scrapping. He sharpened a glass against concrete to hold off skinheads in England and got thrown in jail. I mean, this guy is not afraid of a fight. You know what I'm saying? Later on at Bonnaroo in 2012, someone was taking pictures. Glenn tried to run off the stage, and there was a guy holding him back. Now, here's the thing. I'm sure that if the guy wasn't holding him back, would Danzig have gone further? Would Danzig have tried to push the guy or punch the guy? Maybe, maybe not. Was Danzig relying on that guy being there so that the skirmish didn't have to go further? Possibly. Had there been a guy there backstage with the Northside Kings dude, do you think that is it possible that this maybe might have been what Glenn was banking on, and there was no buffer, and therefore it turned into what it turned into? All again, conjecture. None of us know. We'll never know. The one thing that I feel pretty confident about is A, Danny was ready to punch Glenn, and B, Glenn thought he could shove this dude and didn't think anything was going to happen of it.
Totally agreed. Yeah, the accounts from the guys that were friends of Danny's and there and stuff basically said that Danny the whole time was saying he was going to punch the guy out and this and that. Obviously, you have the field advantage when you can catch a guy off guard. And if you've been the whole day, just kind of calculating this, I think, in that sense, Danny really lucked out that Glenn gave him the opportunity to swing at him. Glenn was absolutely not expecting that swing to come back at him.
Not at all.
Glenn was being Glenn. He shouldn't have had to. He shouldn't have had to deal with that shit.
Right. Where was the security? Where was the buffer? There were so many things that should have been in place, but yet here is Glenn having to deal with post-show. Probably gassed, meaning, which is a boxing term when you're gassed, when you're tired. Yeah. And having to deal with this guy. And so what does he do? He does the last thing that this guy is probably expecting. He shoves him. And he does it in front of a lot of people, as you know in the video. Let's read what Dan Meme says. Anyone can get knocked out. I think this was the case where Danzig never thought the dude would actually throw a punch at him because he is Danzig and can get away with pushing someone. He found out the hard way. If he would have not been on his high horse and expected it to be a fight, then we would have seen a different outcome. Not saying that he would have won, but it would have been different for sure. I don't even know if he was seriously knocked out or just knocked down because we couldn't see after the shot, which leads me to the most important thing of all. We only see 1 minute and 3 seconds of what happens. By the way, I see there's a lot of comments, guys. We're going to get to those comments. I'm so sorry. We're just knee deep in this right now. We never see what happens right after. The only thing we do see is that when the camera comes back up, Danny Macaroni is gone. Someone shouts, "Northside Kings are undefeated." We can see that Glenn has not fallen flat on his face. He's actually kind of stumbled and he's sort of on his feet a little bit.
And that girl yells, "Fuck you, you cunt."
Yeah, it's just a whole that's basically what we get. Let's move on to the next comment real quick. This is Ruster Plus. I love these YouTube names are hilarious. This was 1 year ago from Ruster Plus 111. I don't think Glenn was being a dick. The other guy, okay, so this is interesting. This is why I screenshotted this. The other guy asked him to say he's sorry for something that Glenn was not responsible for. To me, this seems like a shit move, even if Danzig was partially responsible for the whole of them not playing situation. I don't like all the people being happy that Danzig was beat. He does come across as being somewhat rude, but anyone should acknowledge that he deserves the benefit of the doubt by the fact that he has achieved what he has achieved musically. Just a point of view to consider. I think you don't even have to go there. I think just the fact that, I mean, again, consider the venue, consider the opportunity. And, if we wanted to play devil's advocate, we could say this is the only time that Danny Macaroni was ever going to get to talk to Glenn. maybe he never would have gotten his chance, his opportunity to speak. But Danny Macaroni in podcast that we're not going to listen to it. We're just going to repeat it here. It's on YouTube. You can go out and find it. In interviews, has stated that he asked Glenn to apologize. So when Glenn shoves him and says, fuck you, motherfucker, it's because Danny Macaroni has asked Glenn to apologize. So
Glenn doesn't apologize for shit that is his fault. He's certainly freaking suck it up for this bullshit, event that he freaking saved by coming in as a last minute substitution. So that's just dumb.
Right. Next comment. All right, this guy's name is My Grandpa Says He's DB Cooper. This is from 2 months ago. My grandpa says this whole thing looks kind of weird. If I had no backstory on this, I'd say this thing is staged as fuck. The punch looks like it didn't even land. Danzig looks like a shitty actor or stuntman waiting for the punch. I guess it doesn't make much sense in that context, but I wouldn't be surprised if this turns out to be some troll shit. So this sounds like a guy who is not a fan of Danzig, is not a fan of, this is the most unbiased, this is an unbiased YouTube commenter, and this is why I screenshotted this, because this is just a guy weighing in based on the video evidence that we have, and that's why I like that comment. Do you have anything you want to add before we move on, JW?
No, just that I mean, if he's going to go conspiracy that, Danzig was in on it and Danzig, that they both had the whole thing staged, that's pretty dumb because
I see how you're reading that. I didn't read it like that, but I guess that's what you mean with the troll thing. What he says troll at the end. Yeah.
Danzig is not the type of guy to self-deprecate himself, to sacrifice his own image for.
And he doesn't suffer fools.
YouTube clips or something. He's just not that. So maybe I was wrong in that, but no, that's just a bunch of horse shit.
Listen,
you can run with that one, not me.
Danzig does not suffer fools. He does not suffer fools. The only time I've only seen Danzig suffer one fool, and that was backstage at a Danzig show. I saw Dr. Chud get in Glenn Danzig's face, and Glenn Danzig was so uncomfortable and so just like didn't want to make a big deal about it. There were a lot of people around, and I saw this with my own eyes. It was a Danzig and Doyle show, and Chud was on Doyle's guest list. This was when he was still in the band. And Dr. Chud was just in Danzig's face. That's the one time I ever saw Glenn Danzig suffer a fool. I feel like in general, he doesn't ever suffer fools. So there's something to be said about that. Up next, we have Xtal Zero. How do people come up with these YouTube names? It's crazy. This is 7 years ago. Isn't Danzig like 50 something? He's as beast as ever, taking a punch like that. Northside Kings, they suck. Danzig farting is better than everything they've ever done.
Agreed.
I just put that there because of the 50-year-old comment. I think it's true, man. Take that into account.
At that point, he was, probably 50s. I think he's, 66 now? Something like that?
Well, he's born in 55. Oh, maybe he's 49. He's 49 going on 50 or something like that.
Back then.
No, he's 50.
Yeah.
50? I don't know.
No, now. I'm saying now he's like 65.
Well, he's 30 years older than me. I'm 35. So he's either, he's 65 or 66. There you go. Okay. So this guy, Craigo Waffles, says, Craigo Waffles says, in fairness, people were there to see Danzig. This is what you were saying. Nobody was going to see the Northside Queens.
Yep.
Danzig sold the tickets, so fuck all those other bands. I got cut, or he's saying got cut. They were just looking for a free payday riding on Danzig's coattails.
1,000%.
So let's go to the comments now real quick. I'm just going to run through these. I Hate Google Tons says, from what I remember, it seemed to be a sucker punch. And like I said, the offending party seems like an asshole tweaker type and wanted attention. Rue Morgue says, premeditated, I've heard, regarding the idea that they had a camera crew and that they were Here's the thing.
Rageaholic talks about that a lot too. He does a thing called Metal Legends or something where he kind of like goes through discography of a thing. Like he has some other screen name he uses or whatever. But he does a good rant on the whole premeditated thing. And yeah.
So yeah, here's the thing though. I don't think, obviously, the punch is a reaction to being shoved by Danzig. So here's what I think. And this is my personal belief. Again, conjecture, as always, conjecture. I think that Danny Macaroni was absolutely hoping to get something on what would happen. I think that he ended up in pay dirt, or he thought it was pay dirt, in the sense the best thing that could possibly happen in his mind, not saying in general, in his mind, the best thing that could happen is that someone would catch him knocking Glenn in a way that he could claim that he KO'd Danzig, and do it in a way where Danzig seems to be the instigator by pushing him in the first place. So he really hit pay dirt in what he was probably hoping. But make no mistake, the camera has its back to Glenn. So I said this while you were gone. Glenn, do you think, JW, that Glenn was aware that there was a camera, or that he had absolutely no idea there was a camera? In his statement after the fact, he says, I knew there was a camera recording.
Yeah, it's hard to say about the camera. The Northside, or actually friends of the Northside Kings, have said, they were filming a documentary. So I could definitely see where the camera was probably kind of ever present during this day, and not having any actual show to film. There's probably a bunch of really dumb backstage footage and guys hanging out by the van and whatnot. And so given that Danny was talking about, wanting to knock out Danzig, that's really all they had going. So I think there's a very good probability that Danzig was aware of the camera. And I'm really not sure if Glenn was already tuned. We know Glenn has a predisposition of hating cameras and stuff. I don't know if that was a result of stuff like this happening, or if he was already in that wiring. But I could see.
Well, he always hated bootlegs.
I know he always hated bootlegs, but he also, doesn't really like people just getting up in his shit without, properly respecting and asking and stuff like that. So I could see that definitely being an agitating force, and Glenn not being happy about that. So yeah, it's hard to say for sure whether Glenn knew that he was being filmed at that particular time or not. And, a reaction like that, maybe you're going to lean a little bit more towards saving face and, having such a reaction, because you certainly, like I said, he certainly did not expect a hand to come back at him. But, we already know Danny's a liar. Danny Macaroni's a liar just by his own account versus the video, like, oh, he slammed me against the wall. He did this and that. Like, I shy away from using the word sucker punch, because, you push a guy, you're bound to have a higher chance of getting punched than if you don't push a guy. But I could totally see that, they engineered the situation to give them kind of the highest chance of a payout. And I think the thing to think about too is they were the ones with the camera. We've never had any other angle, any other footage, nothing about that. And
never see
they get to control the narrative that way by going, boom, all right, here's your 40-second video, here's your 50-second, whatever the length of that is. They don't show us the lead in, they don't show us, what happened afterwards. And so, this like, oh, Glenn Danzig's eyes rolled in the back of his head and this and that, like, it's dumb, because it's very, it's stupid for the guys that control the footage to be able to also control the narrative. I think that's bullshit.
So Winston Smith says, I think Glenn chooses showmanship and stage performance over the mic technique. His monitors are probably difficult to manage for a sound guy. I hate Google tons. Exactly. And he could have just sat on him. He was childish at best, nothing to be proud of. Winston says Danny is pretty short. Even still, maybe. But even still, Danny has got to have 100 pounds on Glenn Danzig. At least in that video, he looks just much heavier. And that's not criticizing him for being heavy or anything. I'm just saying, weight class wise, he's just heavier than Glenn Danzig. I mean, probably. Eric says, what's up with Glenn Danzig and stage monitors? I've read that he doesn't like when they put monitors in front of him, but they always do it, and he regularly flings them out of his way. Dude, it's so true though. Like I've seen it at shows. I've seen so many YouTube videos. There was one time where like I think like the wire snapped, and he like straight up was like in front of the whole audience. He's like, you know what would have happened if I had stepped 5 feet this way? This wire would have snapped and it could have, like broken my skin or something like crazy. Yeah, some of that. That's my later years Glenn Danzig impression. I don't have an earlier one, but I do later years Glenn Danzig. Oni64, a regular listener, says they had a camera ready. Russell Casualty says, yes, pre-Steve, a good point not to be missed. Talking again about Steve running sound. I just provided it as an example of how they worked. Right. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Russell. Winston says, Eric, I don't think that's true. Monitors are at every show I've seen of Danzig's, but he's always yelling to turn them up, lol. And you see Glenn, there are so many videos where Glenn's like, he's going like this, or he's pointing to the sound guy like you can't hear what he's saying, but he's saying like, fuck you. Yeah, I don't know. Danny Macaroni, JW just came up with that. I like it. Danny Macaroni, man.
I've been using it for years. No, I can't fucking say his last name and don't need to dignify him with one.
Okay, fine.
He's always been Danny Macaroni to me. He looks like some big dumb shit eating a fucking bucket of Reese's backstage that he probably stole off the craft services. So fuck him.
All right. Bradford Male Prick. I love this guy's name. Bradford Male Prick.
I think he's a mall prick. I think he hangs out at the food court or something.
It's possible. It's possible. Bradford says.
He says mall prick.
Yeah, mall prick. Bradford says, I always wondered why Danny yells fuckity when he throws the punch. Does he yell fuckity?
I never picked that up. I'll have to.
So weird.
Right, and see if I'm hearing the same thing, but I never.
All right, let's hold on a second. Let's look up in the Urban Dictionary what fuckity means for our friend. Mr.
Well, I think I've used the word before. Like,
but what does it mean?
Funky and fucked up. Oh, this shit's getting all fuckity.
Okay, here we go. Look, fuckity. You can't see this. Hold on. Ready? Here's what fuckity means.
Consulting a real true.
Yes, we're going to the Urban Dictionaries. Fuckity means used to enhance and bring more emphasis to the word fuck, or a phrase in which said word is contained. Fuckity fuck. Yeah. Okay, there's that. So there you go. Oh, we don't want to look at that yet. That's part of my presentation. I hate Google tons says, I don't think Glenn would fake this pettiness, although some of them are into that wrestling thing. That is what a great point in that, again, whether it's implied or not, Glenn loves watching wrestling. And here he is literally in, I don't know, I don't watch wrestling, but I do know that there's the stories backstage is a big thing of wrestling. And here is Glenn in his own personal WWF story against a guy who looks like he could also be a wrestler. And it looks like two wrestlers having a skirmish backstage. So maybe there is something to that. And he's 65. Winston Smith says that he loves
Winston Smith.
Yes,
I like the name, dude. I'm a big Dead Kennedys fan. I don't know if that's where you got shout out. Winston Smith always did all the artwork for the Dead Kennedys, all the collages on the inside. Really fun, cool, very, very cool graphics guy. So if that's a nod to him, shout out on that too. And thank you for the compliment. King Diamond fucking rules.
Rue says he believes he said fucking asshole. Very possible.
Fucking asshole.
Very, very possible. So we're done. Okay, so now we're done. Hold on a second. Now we're done with our comments. So we can go to this now. So let me show you
A conclusion.
We're getting there. The plane is slowly winding down. I want to bring in my panelists too for a little bit.
You have a guy waiting in the wings?
Yeah, we got not quite yet. We'll see.
Okay.
No, I think he's just watching. So this is the type of reaction that happens after the thing. You get like bullshit articles like this. I punched Danzig in the face with a picture of Danzig. This was an interview, I think, with the guy. There's the guy, but it's just like, look at the way that they look at how Vice.
Oh, of course they use it
for.
And that's given.
It's
Danzig
just
farts of. My God, what an asshole.
Right. And this was from November 13th, 2012. Here's another Danzig. I punched Danzig. That's his last name. Marianino. Marianino.
I believe
to release his book.
Macaroni.
Right. Macaroni. He's going to release his book. And then here's ready for this? This is from November 2nd, 2006. This is from the Phoenix New Times, Legacy of Brutality. This is an archival thing. And this is a guy talking to Danny from the Northside Kings. But this is something that blew my mind. I did not know. So the incident was captured on video and disseminated by azpunk.com. Now check it out. When you go to azpunk.com, it's not going to let us. There's nothing there. It doesn't exist anymore. So
it was a 2004 web forum, so
it's just defunct.
There.
Yeah, and I'm not going to read this whole thing. I just wanted to point out. That that's how this all spread. Now we're gonna go to it. Okay. I don't know what this is real. Although this is just an ad. Okay. Here it is, you guys. So let's do the slow version first, okay? Let's do the slow version first. And you know what? I don't know if this is going to work. But will my panelist, if he so inclines to, please step into the waiting room via link if they do. This might be a mystery panelist. It might not be. It all depends. We're gonna see. But in the meantime, we're gonna look at the video. Ready? I'm going to press play. Here is the full video as it happens. Hold on real quick. I do this often and I'm sorry. I always pause videos in the middle of the video and nobody ever complains. But if I was watching this and it was me watching as a viewer, I'd be like, Jeff, stop fucking pausing the video, shut the fuck up and let the video play. However, it's my show and I will pause the video when I please. So right off the bat, as we were talking about earlier, they very conveniently put www.northsidekings.com on the thing. I'm not doing this I'm not putting this up here to advertise them. It's more about just showcasing what this video is really about. Now, look, Danzig right here, whoever is shooting this is shooting upward, okay? I'm a cameraman, and I can tell you, I'm not an expert cameraman, but I shoot a lot of video, and I will tell you, it looks like the camera is shooting upward a little bit. So that's why Danzig and Danny look to be roughly the same height, but I think Danny is slightly taller than Glenn, okay? I think he's a little bit taller than Danzig. So now he's telling him something. Look, he's pointing his finger as he's talking to him. He's getting a point.
And Glenn doesn't look like he's poised for a fight. He just looks like he's confused why this shithead is in his face.
I would
annoyed, like, Jesus Christ. I thought I could go get a cold water and not have to deal with this dumb dipshit.
So
let it play.
Yes, but we can't see his face, which sucks, which truly sucks. But all right, so hold on. Let's play that again. Look.
His shoulders look relaxed. He looks to me like he's actually listening to the guy, which is more than he should have done. He should have just turned around and bailed.
You're actually right about that. Look, right?
I suspect that they're both facing each other. Glenn was probably trying to get to his dressing room or backstage or whatever place it was that they can recoup. And
you know what he just said? I just heard it. in my headphones. I've never really listened before. This is what he says. Ready? Hold on, real quick. Ready? This is what Danny says first. So Glenn just said something like, "You went on, or you're supposed to go on," something about him going on, and then this is what Danny says.
Yeah.
Danny says, "I understand that." He says, "But if you pushed it back a little bit," he says, "I gave you one after the other or something." So this is okay. So it's so interesting how this just turns. So they're having a conversation. It's already hostile. You can tell it's hostile by the way that Glenn is reacting. By the way, Russell asks a very good question, and this actually is answered in an interview. I don't want, or at least apparently answered in an interview that we're not going to listen to. I don't want to give this guy anymore. You can seek this stuff out. There's a bunch of interviews with Danny Macaroni if you want to find out for yourself. But basically what happens is Danny says, here's the thing that never gets worked out. This agreement about Danzig announcing bands, it's never, ever, ever, ever explained. Did they personally have an agreement?
I say, knowing Danzig's character, knowing Danzig's default positions, there's no way he would have freaking agreed to that shit. I think there's probably a chance that, you know, someone said, "Hey, when you're done with the set, make sure to tell everyone to stick around," you know, and then like they actually thought that would happen because they're that stupid. But no, I don't think there's any way that there was an actual agreement. And the guy that just asked if Glenn knew who Danny Macaroni was at this point, absolutely not. All those bands on the bill, A, they were there for this stupid Slayer show, and B, they were all just a bunch of freaking space fillers. So I guarantee you Slayer didn't even know who they were. And Glenn Danzig absolutely did not know who they were and didn't care and shouldn't care. So,
but here's the thing. Here's what I want to know, because I truly think, without a doubt, I think no matter what he says or does not say, I think that Danny 100% believed that Glenn was going to make this announcement. And so here's what I think happened. I think that the promoter and him had a discussion. Yeah, I don't think he ever had a talk with Glenn or Glenn's camp. And so him confronting Glenn right now, Glenn might have gotten some information from the promoter, but it may not have been the same information that Danny had. It might have been this might be a giant case of telephone. And in fact, Glenn might be incredibly confused. This guy is in his face, pointing fingers, you know, telling him what's what in front of people. Glenn reacts poorly by shoving the guy. So then what happened?
I totally agree with that. I don't think Glenn knew what the hell was coming down the pipe. And to further the point, I think, you know, the producers and organizers were totally just flying by the seat of their pants, just throwing shit together as it goes, you know, like, okay, we're down to one stage. All right. You know, they probably got this Danny fuckface was probably in the promoter's face all day too. And
right.
And said, "Don't worry, you can go on after stage. Danzig."
Yeah, dude, no worries. Danzig's going to announce you,
Danzig
bro.
will announce you guys. You know, they probably weren't really even familiar with how Danzig operates and what an outlandish idea that was. So they were probably just freaking treading water, trying to get through the day, trying to move the show forward. Hey, don't worry, Danzig will freaking announce you guys. Not realizing how dumb that was. And of course that never happened. Because
now hold on a second. One real quick. I do want to point out one thing that I feel is only fair to point out. At any point or time, all right, our panelist has entered the back room. Stand by, panelist. At any point or time, Glenn could have, just through goodwill, just been like, all right, sure, I'll do it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that it would have taken very much energy to do something like that. But at the same time, I don't think that Glenn was on the same page. I don't think Glenn would have, you know.
Here's the thing: you're changing the game plan at the last second. All of a sudden you're assuming that this guy is gonna, announce the bands. That's out of the realm of normal operations. Glenn's used to doing a kick-ass show. Keep going. At the end, he freaking marches off stage and goes to proceed doing his own shit. Now, if they actually gave a fuck, if they wanted to actually proceed with that, they should have had a person designated to do that besides Glenn. And they should have, and you don't say that after the show, you say it before the show, because everyone, once Danzig leaves the stage, you're gonna bail out anyway. So if they actually cared about that and they had the plan, they would have said it, probably not even just whatever set was before Danzig's and whoever's emceeing, hey, by the way, stick around. We got a lot of great bands after the show. We're going to have an after party. We're going to go to the break of dawn, whatever, that's, if you actually wanted to proceed that, then do it. But don't put that on Glenn. I think that's completely ridiculous and stupid.
Now, this is the perfect time. Our panelist is backstage. This is the perfect time for our panelist to weigh in. He is actually someone who I think is incredibly familiar with the Danzig, Samhain, Misfits camp. He used to work very in tandem, if you think about it, because frankly, his face was all over the place from 1979 all the way up till today. Our panelist, who's been involved in our panelist who's been involved with various instances, also played in a bunch of bands, and therefore I'm very curious to hear what their thoughts are on this specific topic, as well as some of the other stuff we were talking about, band mechanics, band etiquette. So without further delay, let me introduce someone. The Crimson Ghost is here to join us. This is the Crimson Ghost. Hello.
So without further delay, let me
Crimson Ghost, you got to turn down, buddy.
The Crimson Ghost.
You got to turn it down, Crimson Ghost. I can hear bleed through. Wait, hold on a second. I'm going to mute him for a minute. I just muted his mic because he has so much. His speakers are so loud.
Yeah, if he has headphones, and then possibly even take off and ask if he's okay with.
That's completely up to the Crimson Ghost.
Showing his face. Yeah, no, it's up to him, or maybe just expose a mouth or something to.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what the Crimson Ghost decides to do.
Crimson Ghost, man, that's some star power.
Yeah. Wait, are you shrugging your shoulders because you can't? There's no way to do the.
He's double masking for proper.
Oh yeah, this is obviously for COVID reasons. Crimson Ghost, you can't. Oh, it's a mask. That's hilarious. Wait, but Crimson Ghost, you're actually on mute right now because you do too much bleed through. You're on mute. You gotta put on some headphones, buddy. Can you do that? Here, let's take them off for a minute.
Hilarious. Wait, but Crimson Ghost, you're actually on mute.
Yeah, no, it's bleeding through. I can't even.
You got like some delay too.
Well, no, the delay is because he's got the show on.
Yeah.
So if he can mute the show, Crimson Ghost, if you could mute the show, he's been waiting in the wings. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, Crimson Ghost is giving me a thumbs up. Hi, Crimson Ghost. How are you?
I'm sorry. Can you not hear me through my mask?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's better now. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, okay, so welcome to the show. Welcome, Crimson Ghost.
Hello.
So
in the background, fucking love that.
Old friend.
So the thing is, we want. Oh, I could still Crimson Ghost. I could still kind of hear myself a little bit. Hold on, I'll try and talk through it. Ready? Okay, that's actually a little bit better. So I want your Crimson Ghost. I want your opinion on a bunch of this stuff here. Okay, everything that we've been talking about. First and foremost, this idea of Danzig being obligated to introduce bands after he's performed. Also, this pay-to-play stuff. Do you think that the bands were subsidizing the guarantee? How should Danzig be received? Being that he's a last-minute fill-in for Slayer, you know, all these things and more. This is why I wanted you as a panelist on here to discuss these things. Uh-oh. The Crimson Ghost is a frozen ghost. Come on, Crimson Ghost. Get it together.
Toast.
The Crimson Ghost is toast. No. Hold on, let's take a look at some of these. Off topic, but David.
Lemmy is always on topic in my world, David Schnare.
Yeah, Schnare. Okay, thank you.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but
no, I think that's it. That's
known him on Facebook for a while. He's been a longtime member of KOD, and I got excited about the Lemmy posters too, my brother.
Yes. So while we're waiting for the Crimson Ghost to get back in, he just exited out. Let's see if he comes back. Crimson Ghost, we're waiting for you. You come back whenever you get your situation sorted.
The most, babe.
He's guest of the most, man. But again, couldn't think of anybody better to comment than someone who's worked with Glenn so closely for so many years. As the Crimson Ghost.
Check out this chick in the back.
I know. She's standing there.
She's doing that like
whatever.
Yes, after school special.
Yeah.
Lockers, ready to freaking entangle some guy and entice him with a bag of bennies or something. I mean, she's gonna wreck some lives. She's looking pretty good.
you have this other woman. She's very concerned. She's over here in the corner. I don't know what her deal is. You know what we're gonna do? Let's go frame by frame. All right. Look,
you cunt.
So Glenn is referencing something back there. So here we go. Ready? He's pointing. You know, they're both trying to be the boss with their thumbs. They're like, I'm the boss. No, I'm the boss. You know, that's like a very sort of
Jersey thing.
Yeah, I guess maybe. So he's referencing. They're talking about the stage or something. Let's see. He's asked him to say sorry. I just heard it. I just heard that. He says, sorry.
Not the approach you need to take with Glenn.
Okay, this is crazy. This guy, Richard, says that's not a chick. That's Josh Silver.
He's talking about the one that I was looking at?
Are you serious, man? How do you know that? Oh, my God, I think he's right.
Kind of looks like Marty Friedman from Megadeth.
No, I don't think so, man. I think that's a chick.
Decided.
No way, man. I don't think. Oh no, he was joking. He was joking.
Oh, okay. I was afraid to make the wrong call before I got in too deep down that rabbit hole.
that was good. So look, he says he is asking for an apology, which he says in one of his podcasts. He says, yeah, I was basically asking Danzig for an apology of the thing. And that's when he asks for an apology, that's when Danzig says, fuck you, motherfucker. Ready?
Expected.
He says, so say sorry. And then he says, fuck you, motherfucker. So he pushes him. And look, so, all right, let's go real slow. I mean, so slow. Ready? We're going to go super duper slow here. Ready? Frame by frame. So hold on. So Danzig puts a hand out. Ready? Wait, hold on. Let's go back to the push. How much power does Danzig have? This guy. I said this guy's got to have 100 pounds on Danzig. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Look, he pushes.
He's not even pushing on his body. He's like barely on his shoulder. It's just,
it doesn't call him to fall back. It just takes him off the center of gravity for 2 seconds.
Out of his face. Wasn't expecting.
He was not expecting to get pushed. Although he might have, man. He might have. Look at. I mean, here's one thing. He's just talking to him. No, he's not expecting a push. But Danzig, who knows what's on Danzig's face? Danzig might be feeling very provoked at this moment. And then look, he goes push, right? He goes back. This is our Zapruder film part. Ready? Oh yeah, that's true. I hate Google tons. Says there is a. Check this out, man. There is a camera flash. Somebody takes a picture in this moment. Look. What happened here?
Yeah, I saw it.
Somebody takes a picture. There it is. Someone, boom. Someone has a picture of this. Interesting. That's
probably same angle. I doubt we'd get anything new from it.
Whoa. Okay. Rue says something crazy. I don't know if I agree with this, Rue. Maybe you're right. Maybe, JW, what do you think? Rue says Glenn was going for the throat.
Let's see. You think he
Let's look. Ready? He goes. I mean, here's the thing. It's like, yeah, the left hand does go up by the neck, but it also looks like a push. Could it have been a grapple of some kind? No, it was a push. That was a push.
Yeah,
Straight up push.
It's not a definitive no about the throat go, but it really just seems like a reactive, not really, strategized push, just to
right.
Oh, fucker.
Now here's the other thing. Look, Danny comes flying up. Look at this is something to keep. All right, keep your focus on Glenn's arm here. Ready? Look at this. Danzig is not Danzig. Danny is coming back. Look,
block.
Danzig. But here's the thing: Danzig is not. He's not backing down. He's not flinching. He's not reaching back. Danzig is full on standing his ground. So look, he comes back. There, one arm goes up. So Danzig is trying to sort of. What is this? What is this? Is this like this? Isn't like. Here's the thing.
By the time you saw that, it was just a reflex block when he saw when he saw.
But it's not this. He's not wincing.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
He's not wincing. Hold on. Ready?
Some of that hand still came through. Whoa.
Puts up his hand, and then here's the thing: you cannot. It's too blurry to tell. For me, it always looked like a bitch slap, but
I always felt it was a glancing off the cheek.
See, that's the motion of his hand right there, and then look, he connects with his jaw for sure. He's connecting with the jaw, right? Danzig
falls down,
goes down. He does, man. He goes down. There's no denying he didn't get clocked, dude. He did. He got clocked. But it's so interesting. Look at the way that the hands dance with each other. We're
gonna get really humble.
I know, right? He goes boom, and then notice this. Look at Danny's arm here.
You probably smelled his armpit. I think
look at Danny's arm. This is Glenn's head. Glenn
kind of stank there.
But look right here. Glenn is facing downward, and Danny's arm actually moves back and hits Glenn's head again.
I never caught that.
I never caught that either. Look.
Pulled back an elbow on him.
Boom. But it's not intentional. It's more like ricochet.
Yeah, it's just sloppy stumbling on both of their sides.
Yeah, this was a terrible, sloppy look. Boom. It's not a it's a sloppy punch.
Danny almost fell down too, just because he's big sloppy dope.
Look, now the camera, it looks like people rush in front of the camera, okay? That's for sure. Yeah, see this guy. Red shirt guy right here rushes in front of the camera, and that's why we can't see what happens next. Look, okay. Someone rushes in front of the camera. Boom. That's why that turns. Then we got red shirt guy right here, runs out in front of the camera. Supposedly it's Tommy Victor who pulls Glenn away or helps Glenn to his feet. So hold on. Now, okay. Guy in the red shirt is trying to help Glenn up. Glenn gets up immediately. He is not.
Yeah, because
he's already on his feet.
He just fell down.
Look, see this right here? That's his arm.
Yeah.
That is his arm, right? Look. He fell down. He's pushing up with his arm, right? Everybody's sort of crowding in. All right, I guess we should press play. Hold on. Guy rushes out to help Glenn. Someone screams, kick his fucking ass. Someone else says, kick his ass. I would say, someone says, kick his fat ass. So I would say those are all Danzig fans.
Oh yeah. They were hoping Glenn was going to get back up and put this guy in his place.
Right. Someone says Northside Kings are undefeated.
And then someone also yells out, cheap shot.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Wait, hold on. Ready?
Yeah, her. I like her.
She's a pisser.
You cunt.
She's a pisser. She's a pisser. So then that happens. Was that Glenn that I just heard saying "fuck you"? I swear to God, I just heard Glenn.
I never really heard Glenn a second time.
So now Glenn. All right, let's take a look at the aftermath. So here's the other thing that's very interesting about this. So look, let's look where Danny is. Ready? In a span of Danny punches Glenn. Let's see, the last time we see Danny is at 15 seconds, right? So from 15 seconds, now we're fast forwarding. People rush through. Camera was recording. This is the Northside Kings camera. Ready? That was at 15 seconds, right? Let's see what time we come back and we see that Danny is already gone. I'm not seeing. It's longer than I thought. Maybe here we'll keep going. So you know what happens? It seems like the cameraman gets kind of like sucked to the back. All right, so look. So by 39 seconds, so within 15 plus 9 is 20. So in 24 seconds, Danny Macaroni is gone. Straight up gone. Glenn is not there either. That's the end of the video. And then as you can see, look, this is something I never understood until very recently. So people, some context here. Note that Danny is simply talking to Danzig and is not threatening him in any way. It is Danzig who initiates contact by pushing Danny, because Danny has claimed in interview. Also, note that there is no weapon of any kind in Danzig's hand. In Danny's hand. It's like claimed.
It's like a shitty press release. Like they scurried up this dumbass video to
Well, check this out. That guy in the red. The guy in the red is actually the head of the security for the show. He can be seen behind Danny in the red shirt. So the reason why there's there's talk of a weapon, because according to Danny, and I've never seen anything, and please, someone who's better at the internet than me out there, who can do a better job than me, freaking get a screenshot of Glenn claiming that Danny stabbed him. Danny claims in Danzig's initial statement that he was stabbed, or that somebody was saying that he was stabbed, and that they released, I don't know, and that they released this video to prove otherwise. And they've never seen any proof to suggest that. No one has ever shown that to be the case.
Sounds like a bunch of nonsense to me.
It just sounds like nonsense. And look how much bigger. Okay, here's the other thing too. Oh, okay. So I was wrong. The guy in the red shirt. Wow. Okay, discoloration here. So see this guy behind Danny? That's the head of security.
Yeah, the red shirt. Yeah.
That's the head of security.
You should not have. It should not have allowed this to even happen.
I mean, there's just so much, as we said. And here are some questions and some things that I wrote down. And as we're winding down here, people, here are some things that I wrote down.
Let's get some closing thoughts.
Well, hold on one second. Let me see, because we kind of covered a lot of these things. I wrote this. I said this already. An agreement that Danzig would announce to the crowd that more bands were playing after him. Who was this agreement between? We already talked about that. Danny wants Glenn to apologize, blah, blah, blah. Talked about Danzig, past and future interactions, Danzig's hospital support, exchange being recorded, and how it is recorded. So how is this exchange being recorded? It's being recorded with Danzig's back to the camera. So is Danzig aware? Is Danzig not aware? No matter what, Danzig doesn't know that necessarily, that maybe that there's a camera to his back at that particular moment. Here's something else that I did not know until I was going through all this material. So this guy Danny is affiliated with a band called Soulfly, right? And
I know who Soulfly is.
right. He's affiliated with a band called Soulfly. He tried to fight. Danny has gotten into a lot of fights. He's tried to fight a lot of people. There is no doubt in my mind that of course he wanted something to happen, because
he's not getting noticed for his music. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but even still, maybe Glenn is slightly right in the sense of Danny wanted something to happen, or wanted something instigated to happen, because Danny couldn't be the one to punch Glenn in the mouth like he wanted earlier, as per the witness, who I think is a reliable witness. He was a sound man. He was Danny's friend. I think it was pretty straight. So I don't know. So there is that to be said. Hold on. Ultimately, the clip without context doesn't work. We have no other context besides what we like, meaning we didn't get to hear the full conversation before. We don't get to see what happens. We just get this one.
It's an isolated piece of an event.
Right.
We can speculate a lot, knowing how events in general work, and knowing these two personalities and how conflict works, and you know, there's a lot that we can speculate on and make reasonable assumptions, even though this video is just a tiny little, you know, window into a larger story. But I think a lot of the retellings of what happened, I think a lot of those are pretty consistent with the speculations that we've made, certainly that I've made. Obviously, you got some guys that come in and want to, you know, be more of the story than they were. So obviously they're going to either or try to add weight to, you know, their particular part. Oh my God, wasn't it Creepitus? You're like, okay, dude, you just wanted to say Creepitus. But for the most part, I think even the people that are, you know, Glenn haters and stuff, I think most of the accounts are rather consistent with, you know, what I believe about the video, and what I believe were probably Glenn's frustrations with the day, and just kind of how this was, in my opinion, just a shit show that got out of hand. Glenn, you know, in terms of Danzig's band being there, I think they served a function. They served it well. They pleased the crowd. They gave everybody their money's worth. You don't give people their money's worth by making them wait freaking 8 hours to see the headliner. So I think ultimately, you know, other than, you know, can you say that Danzig lost his cool or whatever? Yeah, you could say that, but that's what Glenn does. So it's all of this is stupid. The guy should never have been in Glenn's face. You know, it's, I think it's all bullshit. It's a stupid scenario.
Right.
Whatever, dude.
Let's take a look at the comments here. Hold on one second. Richard says maybe he dug those long thumbnails in. If he really wanted to go for a serious throat damage, he could have done that thumb move and way faster. Just saying, Glenn was not out to kill that guy.
Yeah, Glenn's got a dagger.
Yeah. Ruse says Bouncer got fired for sure, probably. Back and to the left. Back and to the left. I said we were going to do a Zapruder analysis, and we did it. That was the goal of this, ultimately.
Not a lot of grassy knolls in Tuba, Arizona.
Right.
Dead, dirty wasteland.
Right. Russell says, surely someone can 4K upscale this video. I mean, if people can upscale a steam engine from 1912, can't we upscale some macaroni slap? Macaroni slap! Somebody needs to write a song about that. That would be hilarious.
Wet noodle.
David says, it was definitely a punch that caught him off guard more than it was a KO punch. Here's the thing, guys. Again, we are not here to deny what has clearly happened. Danzig took a hit to the jaw and he dropped to the ground. Happened.
Ground.
Yeah.
but I lean towards David's analysis. I think he got I say he got knocked down. I don't think he got knocked out. I think all that garbage calling it a KO is complete nonsense.
No, it's not a KO.
I
don't know.
Based on what's there, based on what I can observe in the video.
Now, it might be too that like by UFC rules, if you get like knocked like that maybe it's like a TKO or something. But I don't know, man.
What'd you say? Yeah, let Rogan watch this. If we
like I would love to see Rogan watch this.
If we can get our on Rogan, that would be awesome.
Could you?
If any of you out there have some higher up connections, see if we can get this in front of his eyes and give it a shot.
If I could ask Rogan one question, you say, hey, Jeff, you can talk to Rogan and ask him one question. It would be, I want your analysis on this video and what you think happened. Glenn looks silly as he's falling. Yeah, I mean, I would look silly too.
It's hard to look cool when you fall.
Yeah. Northside Kings albums don't sell for 15.
It doesn't look super cool.
By the way, this destroyed the band. The band made the choice to slap Northside Kings everywhere and try to profit off of this in a variety of ways. It destroyed the band. Danzig's legion of fans, they were destroyed after this. This was the thing that ruined the band. They did not benefit in a way that they thought they were going to benefit.
I don't subscribe to that. I think the band ruined the band because all you have to do is, see where they were at the time and where they went after it. And did they do anything with their name? No, they didn't. They never made stars of themselves. But Danny did use it to cash in and do a stupid book, and he's selling whatever shirts with his name on it, skull or whatever. Right. So I don't think this ruined the band. I think this gave them their 15 minutes of fame, which he's been milking for 16 years. So yeah.
Right. But the point is that they tried to soldier on as a band after attempting to cash in on this. Yeah, and they could not.
Don't you think they were doomed anyway? I mean, you think
possibly
that band was actually going to stick around and have staying power, be the heroes of Yuba City or whatever? They're just gonna keep on doing garage gigs with Creepidus and Children of Tragedy. They're not.
Children of tragedy. We are children of tragedy.
Children of tragedy.
Yeah.
Creepidus.
I want to be in the basement when Children of Tragedy were coming up with their name. Hey, what if we were children of something? How about Children of the Corn? Nah, man, that's a movie.
Evil.
Children of Evil. Children of Darkness. Nah, man, that's not cool. What about, hey, she looks at a newspaper in the corner. Hey, man, what if we were Children of Tragedy? What?
To the city.
Yeah. Eric says, if I was Glenn, I would have just said I didn't get hit. I fell over as I dodged the punch. Watch that video again. It's more believable than what he actually did say about it. Here's the thing, Eric. He didn't have to say anything. He didn't have remember that comment that I read at the beginning that JW and I were both in agreement about this. He said, ultimately, it didn't do anything for them. The people that love me still love me. The people that hate me still hate me. And those guys are nothing. That is literally the classiest. Glenn did say the classiest thing that he could say. It was the follow-up that he never needed to say. That nor this. It just didn't have to say it. And that's honestly Monday morning, armchair quarterbacking via internet nerd stuff. But whatever. The camera seems awfully low, as if being filmed. I can't pronounce that word. I'm sorry. I'm being honest. I can't pronounce it. What does it say? Surreptitiously? Say that word for me, please. What does it say?
Surreptitiously.
I can't. All right. Whatever he just said. Though
surreptitiously.
That's a tough one. Surreptitiously.
The word and want to say it.
An ongoing thing on my show is that I'm constantly reading and I'm either stumbling over my words or I can't pronounce words that I've never read out loud. And so I don't try to hide it. I don't try to I'm not embarrassed by it. It's just I wear it on my skin. Sometimes I just suck at reading. That's the truth, you guys. Russell says, because the filmer thought filming in general might get them kicked out, just a thought. Maybe that's actually, I mean, that's possible, but I think it's at the end of the show. Mind you, the filmer has his back to Danzig. The guy who's shooting, maybe that's what's going on. He's got his back to Danzig because he doesn't want Danzig to, kick him out. Pod agrees 100% with Danzig. I mean, with Eric, I disagree. Pod, I think the first statement was perfect. I hate Google says, so I think he is okay to be trying to keep the Danny guy away from him since so I think he is okay to be trying to keep the Danny guy away from him since security was trash. Huh.
Yeah, you see, security wasn't doing their job, so Glenn was just the guy out of the way. Totally reasonable, in my opinion.
And you know what, JW? This is not the first time that Danzig has experienced this in the realm of one of the things that really plagued the Misfits and also propelled them into myth-like status was when Doyle cracked a kid over the head with his guitar. Now, what Glenn has maintained after that show, in some instances, is where was the security not doing their job protecting us from getting full beers thrown at them, even if it was a punk rock show in San Francisco in 1981. It's like, there are certain things that are in place to make the show work. You can't perform if someone's throwing full beer cans at you, even if you're dropping F-bombs into the audience because it's the town of San Francisco. That, I think, happens here a little bit in the sense of security's not doing their job and this is happening. Again, we're not saying that Glenn didn't get knocked down from a punch. We're just trying to put more context as to how all this happened and try to make sense of it. And that's what we're doing right here, right now. Arlene Specter and the magic fist theory, instead of the magic bullet, the magic fist. Glenn's head is already turning before Danny connects. Was not a solid hit, knockdown for sure. Let's take a look. We're right there right now. Ready? Look, Glenn's head is already turning. Interesting. All right, two things that are never really explained or talked about when talking about this. I know. See, JW, this is where we're really just getting into the disgustingly boring detail of this, but this is the stuff that needs to be explored. So look, the arm goes up and the head does turn. Does that tell us that Glenn is doing something there, or is that just no? He just I
think it's just more indication that wasn't really ready for what was coming. If he's already going to be looking at something off to the side, he's not.
Oh. Or is that a flinch? Is that a flinch reaction to he's about to get punched and he's trying to maybe move out of the way of the punch and is unsuccessful and gets punched? It's not a full connection. It's not a full-on punch. It's more of a graze on the chin. Scrape. I don't know.
I call it a glancing blow.
It's a glancing blow. Fine. We agree to that. We're never going to be able to come to exact... we're never going to get an exact answer. David says, exactly, Glenn is still performing before sellout crowds while NSK toil in obscurity. Are they even still together? I don't know. I know that he sells T-shirts. I don't know if they're still a band. I hate Google Ton says, Glenn should have stuck with the first thing he said. The I let him hit me thing sounds like the fake wrestling drama vibe stuff again. Sorry for repeating. That's okay. All I do is repeat every single day, every which way. You're right about the Misfits security troubles. It's just disrespectful. So there we go. I think we have really gotten to the bottom of this.
Yes,
as much
we're
as
done.
we're going to. Yeah, we did it. We really did it. I wasn't sure how the show was going to go. I really. Pod says this is what we've agreed to. We agreed that it was a shit show that led to conditions where this could happen, and that the truth of the matter is, after deep analysis and research done, we stand by the glancing blow theory. Yes, Danzig got hit. It was a glancing blow that did bring him to the ground, but not in the way of a total knockout. Okay,
not at all. No rolling eyes.
No rolling eyes. No shock of I can't believe.
No pink elephants.
So that is and that is the story. And another topic covered. This JW, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show. You were excellent. Yeah, you did a great job. I'm really glad, and for everyone who stuck with us, we still have 19 people, which is really I'm really amazed. On Super Bowl night, I did not think we'd have 19 people watching this. That's kind of funny. Nah, you know, for a rinky-dink little show like this.
Just curious, what's a usual viewer number when you're going live?
It can fluctuate anywhere between 5 people as much as I've had 35 people at my height.
Yeah, real good against the Super Bowl then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For Super Bowl. Yeah. I would say so. Again, I usually, you know how YouTube measures their metrics? It's not by views, it's by watch hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I average in 28 days, I average 100,000 watch minutes on my videos, which is
right. I don't even know.
You know what? It's a drop in the bucket actually compared to other YouTube tracking. It's like nothing. But we do usually just pretty good on the reruns. That's what I
stamina, man. I you know, when I do something, I go do a Facebook Live. Like I'm like 30 minutes. It's been great. I'm out of here. You know, rock on Cleveland. But yeah, man, I look at your shows. I'm like, how the hell can this guy talk for 3 hours about anything? But I guess we did it tonight, man. You know,
I'll tell you something. My record is
3 hours.
No, well, I've done so my record for just me solo, I've done 3.5 hours solo by myself. We're currently at 2 hours and 50 minutes.
Yeah.
With a guest, Joe, my friend Joe and I did 5.5 hours that I had to split into 2 episodes. And that was a part of it was an 8-hour conversation that went to like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you might have to chop this up into a box set too.
No, this is nothing, dude. 2 hours and 50 minutes. We didn't even crack 3 hours, man. We didn't even crack 3. Can you stay? Hey, can you stay for another 10 minutes or can you hold on for 10 more minutes? All right, let's make it an even 3 hours. Okay.
10, go ahead. Yeah, wrap
good.
Up. Do some
I like the round numbers. That's perfect.
Sure.
That's perfect. We still got 19 people. So if anybody, let's open it up for comments. Does anybody have any additional comments or anything that they want to add? I can say, one thing I could say for sure, guys, I don't know if you saw my post on the Lodi page, but all the footage. So look at this. See this right here? This is a 5 terabyte hard drive, and it contains 4 terabytes of all of my Misfits interviews that I've done. And I just transferred that to my work drive. The work is due to begin, you guys. I'm super excited to go back into my interviews. JW, I did a ton of interviews with a lot of adjacent Misfits people, some actual Misfits, and you know, just like hardcore guys and just a bunch of different people. And there's so many wonderful goodies waiting to be revealed that I've been lost to time. A bunch of interviews from people that are no longer with us, including Joey Image, Odorous from Guar is in the documentary. We've got Basil Gogos is in the documentary. Lots of cool people. And so that work is set to begin. What's going on with KOD right now? Is there any? I know you guys had some troubles, and now you're back.
We didn't fucking skip a beat. So you know,
good for you.
About 2.5 weeks ago, you know, we got taken down by Facebook. We're a dangerous group with dangerous individuals. So, you know, that's what we had 7,600 people at the time. So it's certainly not, you know, people have been gunning for me since the beginning of time. I don't fucking care. That's how it works. So how it went down with the takedown, I know for one thing, Facebook was like dialed up to like 100 following the Capitol riots and the stuff that went on down there. So we didn't have any, you know, reference to, you know, I think I was getting reports more like on stuff that had certain keywords, you know, revolution, riots, Capitol, stuff like that. So I think when they turned those metrics up, I think, you know, we had almost 6 years of backlog posts and stuff still up there. So I think a lot of it was just auto flag that kicked in, but it's not unreasonable to think that, you know, we know there's always been snipers in that group anyway. So And within like an hour or two of us getting taken down, some dipshits opened up a freaking counterfeit KOD, with the same name, the same fucking cover. It's the same bullshit. That's not even an original hack. People have been doing that shit for 5 years too, nipping at my fucking heels, saying they hate me, saying they KOD. But what do? They try to fucking jock my shit every time. And we didn't fucking skip a beat. I opened up a new page the very next day, and we're 10 times as more rigorous in who we screened, because we never fucking cared about quantity anyway. It was always about quality. And pretty much most of the people that were really our core membership and stuff. And I think we have about 350 something, 380 something like that right now. I mean, these are the people that have actually been active. They actually give a shit. So in terms of content and stuff, we're actually better now than we were. So whoever fucking took down the group or whatever, thanks for doing us a favor, because we were able to just basically very efficiently cut about 77,000 dead weight motherfuckers. I still have right now, I presently have about 150 people in the waiting room. If I don't know who they are, they go to the end of the line. So sometimes they contact me directly, give me a little, background or whatever, let me know they can be trusted and stuff. And that's kind of how we're handling it right now. I do it all myself. And, we're very proud of what we've done. Like I said, we're not just, obviously we make a lot of memes, we make a lot of jokes, but people that say, that don't understand, we're definitely a community, and we're looking forward to this pandemic shit getting on again. Getting done with, so that we can have more parties and keep kicking ass. We always have a strong presence at the shows. Our freaking crew is these are the best people in the world, and definitely the finest of the Danzig community. And we're glad to have you as a part of it, Jeff, and be able to share some content, because like you said, when it comes to the nerd factor, we're as nerdy as they fucking party. We like to have a good time. We come from all walks of life. We got freaking doctors and lawyers and mechanics and fry cooks and just about everything. But when it comes to actually getting together, everyone's the fucking same as far as I'm concerned. You show us respect, we show you respect, and we're glad to fucking keep on doing what we do. So thank you for the opportunity, man.
I've always said that Misfits nerds are that Misfits fans or Danzig fans or whatever are the Star Wars nerds of the music world. It's 100% true. So much so that I think that there was a podcast that did a whole thing on the Misfits, and they said that very quote. And I really, truly believe they stole it from one of my live streams, because they put out theirs in May, and I said that in March. And I really think that when they were looking at stuff on YouTube, because I put up my first ones, and I don't actually know, but I feel like I coined that. In any case, I just want to answer, I hate Google tons. It's not that I'm uploading them. I'm turning this into a documentary. This is a documentary that is going to be coming out. It's going to be a documentary about the Misfits called They Came from Lodi. So one thing that I may do, I may take things that are never going to make it into the film. And what I've been flirting with is there are like membership. It's kind of like there's like a Patreon through YouTube. I'm thinking of doing it's like a membership. I'm thinking about doing my Patreon through YouTube, and people that go through the paywall can see outtakes of things that are interesting but never going to make it into the doc. I don't know if people will find it interesting. It's something that I will experiment with. I don't want to do any crowdfunding for this thing. So everything I do, making t-shirts or whatever, is to subsidize costs associated with the doc. So I just wanted to answer your question in terms of what am I doing with those interviews. Rue says that KOD is like therapy.
And then right above that, David Schneer said it's always the same 10 to 15 losers trying to screw with KOD. So right. True. That they try to fuck with us online. They even freaking trespass into our parties and try to cause bullshit. We freaking remove them. We throw them out. It's the same bullshit. They never freaking achieve anything, and you know, they've tried to already have like 100 knockoff groups and try to, you know, create their own great value KOD, you know, and more power to them. But guess what? They fail every fucking time. That's why they keep having to come at me and come at me for shit. If you guys had something, go fucking do it. Be proud of your shit. But you don't. You don't have a goddamn thing, and you keep fucking biting my ass. So guess what? Every time you do, we're just going to come at you every fucking time. You know, you're fucking forgettable. That's why they have to freaking come into our parties and try to freaking come up with their counterfeit bullshit. It's the same tired bullshit every fucking time. Nobody fucking cares. So fuck them.
Listen, if I don't know what, but when I'm programming stuff in the future, if I think of a good topic that I think you would be good for, I will definitely have you back on as a co-host. We'll figure out something.
Yeah, I'm glad to help.
We'll figure it out. Okay. So we're 30 seconds away from 3 hours, and that's when I'm going to end. I love doing this. I hate ending on like 2:55. It just makes me so annoyed. I was like, just talk for. Come on.
When we get to 10, right?
We're almost there. We're just stalling for time. But guys, thank you so much. Have you guys seen any live shows recently? I haven't been to a live show since the Pixies in 2019.
King Diamond was my last one. Good one to end on, but I can't wait to rock out again.
Pixies was a good one to end on too.
3, 2,
1. Peace and hair grease.